apiece. A total of 6 homers between the two for the Rebels out of the SEC. What's at stake this season? Oregon trying to win at OKC for the first time in 7 years. Ole Miss for the first time ever. First pitch coming up next from OKC. I'm here at Devon Park. The Ole Miss Rebels will be the first team to swing the bats today. Starting lineup brought to you by Capital One for Ole Miss. We mentioned their great offense in elimination games. They've scored 14 runs. They've hit 6 homers. Half of those runs and homers have come from their seniors, Aaliyah Binford and Lexi Brady. No surprise, Amanda, back-to-back days with a start for the All-American Lindsey Grine.
Yeah, this has been the go-to starter for Oregon in the postseason, and oftentimes this year, this will be her 29th start of the season, just over a 2.0 ERA, transferring from Virginia Tech. She has the fierceness about her in the circle, Lindsey Grine does.
Win or go home, Ole Miss, Oregon. Lindsey Grine to Jaden Pone with a first pitch a little too tall. It is 8:36 local on this Friday, May the 30th from Oklahoma City. Splendid, splendid night for some Elimination Day softball. 73 degrees at first pitch. A ground ball to short. There's the Gold Glover Paige Sinicki, and her throw gets away from Riley McCoy, who had not played the field the last couple of days after being hit in the face with a line drive. And Ole Miss gets a base runner.
It just looked like a routine play for the Gold Glover at shortstop, who we talked about, but forces the throw, and Riley McCoy over at first base. Not a great stretch. She could have stretched more toward right field a little bit more with that left leg as she stretched to catch it, but a great way to start this elimination game. You know, nerves are flowing on both sides of the field right now.
It's McCoy's second error of the year, and a base runner for Lair Boutte. It takes down and away. It's Aaron Peterson, the plate umpire today. Chad Steers at first, Marty Abzishin at second, Jim Bertuzzi at third. That's down low to Boutte, who is one of 6 seniors in the Ole Miss starting lineup. Yesterday, Ole Miss had just 2 hits in the 6th inning from the 8 and 9 spots, and no other base runners against the electric Nyjah Kennedy. Boutte takes another one down, and it's 3-0 from Lindsey Grine. And her freshman catcher, Emma Cox, just 5 pitches in, comes to the circle.
Yeah, and Lindsey Grine is going to be known for her rise ball. She likes to throw this pitch on multiple different levels, all the way from the knees up to the eyes. She can throw it on both sides of the plate, like we saw last night against UCLA. Backward rotation, then also mix in a drop ball that she's thrown more this year with working with Missy Lombardi, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, and also the pitching coach. That rise ball she throws at 70% of the time, and hitters are only hitting 176 off of the rise.
96 pitches yesterday, 5+ innings, give up 2 runs, 5 hits, walked and struck out 2 each in a 4-2 walk-off loss to UCLA. 3-1 for Boutte. We'll wait.
You know, if I was in an elimination game tonight, I would want to be the hitting first. I would want to be the visiting team and not the home team, because I would want an opportunity to come out fast and to put runs on the board early and put pressure on the other team.
It's leveled out of play. It's 3-2. Well, Ole Miss again got nothing going until the 6th yesterday. Angelina De Leon and Taylor Malvin, the 8 and 9 hitters, were the only base runners. 0 for 18, 10 strikeouts for Jamie Traxel's top 7. But this is her lineup. It's the same lineup it was yesterday. It's been a very similar lineup throughout most of the postseason run, and she's sticking with her 9. 6 seniors, 2 freshmen, and a junior for Ole Miss. Swing and a miss, and now Pone gets hung up between the bases. Cox goes all the way to the circle, and Pone is safe. There was obstruction called on Sinicki anyway, so it's a strikeout, and then bizarrely Pone makes it to second.
Look at this pitch by Lindsey Grind. This is her rise ball, her bread and butter. She goes inside to Boutte to be able to get her a rise ball through the zone. And then Emma Cox catches Pone out in no man's land, but they still can't get her out. They let her trickle back to second base. Way too many steps and then threw too late, but there was going to be obstruction on Sinicki anyway, and she would have been able to get to second. Somehow Pone got left out to dry in between first and second and still makes it into scoring position, which is why right now Oregon's going to come together and talk about what just happened, get on the same page, understanding in an elimination game how important it is to keep the visiting team in the first inning off the board.
This is a pretty shocking start for Oregon, which came into the tournament with the third best fielding percentage in the country, 981. An error against McCoy, and then not an error, it's officially deemed a steal for Pone, though it could have been an error because of obstruction. It's a defensive mistake by Cox. 2 straight defensive mistakes for Missy Lombardi's team. So a runner at second. Here is Aaliyah Binford, who has carried Ole Miss through this postseason. Binford takes a low strike.
That's an off-speed pitch, too, that Lindsey Grind will work in there. We talked about her drop down. We talked about her rise ball, but that changeup going to be important against these Ole Miss hitters tonight.
Lindsey Grind so adept at working at different levels. Jumps ahead of Binford 0-2. Off speed down and away. Up and in on her hands with the rise. That's in the dirt. It gets through the wickets of Cox. Pone gets to third with only 1 out.
It's going to go down as a wild pitch through the wickets of Emma Cox right under her glove. Just something a little bit off here with the Oregon defense to start this game.
20th wild pitch of the year by Grind. Certainly looked blockable for Cox, though. 1 and 2 is up and away. So 3 miscues for Oregon to open the game, and now Binford, who's 55 RBIs, are the most in a season in Ole Miss history. And she hits one right to Sinicki at short. A low riser for the second out. So Grind is 2/3 of the way there. As she'll get the freshman Percy Yamas looking for his her first hit on the World Series stage after an 0 for 3 yesterday. Percy Yamas is in the middle of a really, really special freshman year. A great day for a duck roast, they're saying in the Ole Miss fans section, the always animated Rebels fans. Percy Yamas, the all-SEC freshman with 3 home runs here in the tournament. Takes one in the dirt, and that one stopped nicely by Cox.
And this year I've been really impressed with Percy Yamas and just her calmness at the plate for a freshman. It just doesn't even look like she has a heartbeat when she steps into the box.
And Yamas elevates this ball to left center. No heartbeat, cool as a cucumber. She delivers the first run of the World Series ever for Ole Miss. Finley Trexel's loving it. Paws in the air, fists in the air for the Ole Miss fans, and they strike early.
And Percy Yamas says she just sees ball and hits ball. Goes up and gets the rise ball, just wants to be able to react, and she reacts to up, gets her barrel there, and drives in the first run of this game. Percy Yamas, my goodness, she has been so clutch in the postseason.
We asked her the other day about her mind in a big moment. She said, and I quote, "It's blank." Doesn't like watching film. Feels like it'll overstimulate her. Just gets up there, has an idea, and doesn't straight up hack either. As Lexi Brady takes ball 2. Percy Yamas has only struck out 11 times. Well, she is an intelligent hitter, and she has delivered the first run ever for Ole Miss at the World Series. Now a strike to Brady.
Well, and I liked it when her teammates were talking about her too. They call her the calm before the storm because she is so calm up at bat, but then the storm with her bat and her clutchness coming through for her team.
Brady gets a piece of this one to short, and that ends the inning. An error, a wild pitch, a miscue on a steal. That's all on the Oregon side. It's all joy for Ole Miss. They've already won a couple of elimination games in this postseason. They're off on the right foot in their third try with their backs against the wall. A 1-0 lead for Ole Miss. Now the Oregon Ducks turn at bat in this elimination game. Their starting lineup is brought to you by Capital One. The Ducks, the 4th highest scoring team in the country coming into the World Series, and Riley McCoy's been a huge run producer for them. 19 homers in her first college year to tie a program record. Well, Leah Binford went the distance, all 6 for Ole Miss yesterday, but Brianna Lopez has been their workhorse in the NCAA tournament. She's starting for the 7th time in 9 NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, similar to Lindsey Grine on the other side, Bri Lopez has been their go-to starter, and she'll be able to work her curveball on both sides of the plate alongside her changeup. Look at how she grips her changeup. A couple of knuckles on the ball, pops it out of her hand, and fools hitters. Her catcher, Lexi Brady, who has hit off of her at practice, of course, said you can know that that changeup is coming, and you still can't hit it. She is calm, confident, and consistent. That's why they like to start her, because they give her, or she gives them, consistent quality starts. She will work that curveball 50% of the time and throw her changeup basically the other half.
Oregon's going to start with a couple of lefties. The Luchar sisters, Kai and Kedri, already in the hole. Kai Luchar will try to help them dig out. She'll take ball 1. A surprisingly down day for the Ducks yesterday. Caitlin Terry pitched brilliantly for UCLA, giving up just 2 runs, 1 earned. Oregon had 4 hits and no walks in 7 innings. You want to beat the Ducks, you got to beat Luchar, and Terry neutralized her to the tune of 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Batting on the 75-degree clear night. Humidity not much of an issue. Clear skies, gorgeous, gorgeous softball weather.
You mentioned it, but a huge part of Oregon's offense is their speed game, especially up at the top, down at the bottom of their order too. They have a ton of speed that they want to be able to get on, take extra bases, and put pressure on this Ole Miss defense tonight.
2-1 for Kai. I believe you call that an information pitch if you're a pitcher.
It's telling you something. I don't know where that missed. That looked like it caught the bottom of the zone to me.
And Peterson thought a little bit low. That ball slapped to third, and it was a great pick at first, but Ashton Lansdale bobbled it, trying to transfer it. And Kai Luchar, the nation's best base stealer, is aboard.
And it's just a prime example of what speed can do to you, because Lansdale is all over this ground ball, gets to it quickly, but it's the transfer and just thinking ahead, just worrying about the throw before she even has the ball in her throwing hand, just misses the transfer, bobble. And when speed is on and in the back of your mind as a defender, it causes you to make mistakes like that.
Lansdale stays in for Kedri Luchar. Kai was on the run. She'll make it to second. Her sister is out at first on the ground out to Pickens. So the Ducks get a runner to second quickly on a swinging bunt by the All-American. Well, here's Riley McCoy, who's trying to make up for that missed catch error in the first inning. 2 strikeouts, 0 for 3 in her World Series debut yesterday. And we have another timing violation.
Illegal pitch, 1-0 count.
I believe that's our 3rd timing violation of the World Series. 22nd pitch clock. Lopez didn't throw in time, so she starts behind an automatic ball. And her first actual pitch makes it 2-0. Freshman McCoy has burst onto the scene in Eugene. Had a great tournament as well. Couple of homers. There's an off-speed strike one.
Well, a big shift is on her with Mackenzie Pickens, the second baseman, playing more toward the shortstop side, right next to her actual shortstop, Angelina De Leon. And then Percy Amas pulled off of the first base bag in between first and second. Big pull shift on McCoy, who has a lot of center field power. Looking at her spray chart, she's hit a ton of home runs this year. Most of them have been toward the middle of the field, a couple toward right field, and several toward the pull side. But this is a freshman who can drop bombs like nobody's business. I mean, the way that she has stepped up as a freshman with hard work, dedication to this team has been something special to watch.
They weren't sure if and when she'd return to the lineup this postseason. Super Regional finale against Stanford. McCoy was hit in the face with a line drive. Left that game, missed game one of the Super Regional, but returned for the game 2 win. A 3-2 for her here. And McCoy waits back on that changeup. Popped up to Yamas in foul ground. Kylu Shar's going to go to third on a foul pop out to first. And the Ducks have a runner there, but Ole Miss has the first 2 outs.
Well, because of the shift, Yamas had to track that down and cover almost the same amount of ground as like an outfielder, because she was in between first and second, and then also had to avoid the first base umpire down the line. So look at her drop step, track this down, feel the umpire there, and know that, okay, she's got a lot of speed. I'm not going to make that unnecessary throw. It's a good call by the freshman.
Now Jamie Traxel's out before a pitch to Paige Sinicki. The Ole Miss head coach has taken Ole Miss to the World Series for the first time. She took Minnesota to the World Series for the first time in 2019. Ninth coach ever to take 2 different programs to the World Series. Jamie Traxel. It's Ole Miss team that was picked 14th out of 15 in the SEC. Here they are in OKC. Strike one bends into Paige Sinicki, who scored the tying run in the 7th inning yesterday. Hoping this will not be the end of an exceptional career. Her 192nd consecutive start at shortstop.
And if I'm Sinicki with a runner at third base, looks like a little bit of confusion with the wristband here, but I know that error went down on Riley McCoy, but Sinicki is probably thinking about that throw in the back of her mind that led off the game, that was just not on target, led to a base runner that would have come around to score. Probably in the back of her mind here, wanting to tie up this game.
And she lays down a 2-out bunt. It backspins. Lopez doesn't make the play at first. Luchar on the ball, bunted in front of her, stayed at third. And the Ducks have a bunt hit and runners at the corners. Right read there, do you think, by Luchar at third?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with somebody like Des Patman coming up, not wanting to run into an out, catching the corners off guard, playing back against Sinicki.
Let's see if Oregon puts Sinicki in motion with a couple of great base stealers on. She is going, and Lexi Brady wisely will just stick it in her pocket. Paige Sinicki has her 31st steal of the year and Oregon's 173rd. So second and third for Patman. That ball is ripped to left field. Down for a hit to score one. Here comes Sinicki to make it two. Desiana Patman, the Ducks miss May, delivers another big-time hit in the postseason.
One thing already about the start of this game is that the clutch hitters are continuing to be clutch. Des Patman does it again. Gets a curveball that is up in the zone. A great pitch to hit, and she's able to drive it to the outfield and score 2 runs. Paige Stanicki is so quick. Great rounding of third to be able to not slow down at all and get in way early before the throw. Des Patman, my goodness, have yourself an NCAA tournament.
A 2-run laser, and now a bunt popped up into the glove of Brady. Kaylin Jones is out. Des Patman with a couple of walk-off hits in the supers and the regional, puts the Ducks on top after 1. So is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes, anything's possible this time of year, and that's the history Oregon and Ole Miss are trying to make.
Yeah, it's just hard to do because you're playing more games, you're a little bit more tired, and every game is an elimination game, so you feel this immense pressure maybe at first. And then once you, I think, get through the first one, then you start to settle in and not feel like the end of your season is just around the corner, and you settle into being comfortable in the elimination games.
Strike from Lindsey Grind and Mackenzie Pickens. And hey, these are a couple of teams that are already comfortable in elimination games. They've had to play multiple such games to get here. Swing and a miss by Pickens, 1 and 2. Oregon's already won 3 elimination games, all in the regional round. Had to beat Stanford twice on Super Regional Sunday after losing to Stanford on, I should say, Regional Sunday. And something's got to give here because we mentioned Oregon in the open. They're 8-0 after a loss. Ole Miss all time after being shut out in the tournament, 5-0. So somebody's going to make the wrong kind of history tonight.
This game can't end at a tie, right? Like somebody has to lose, right?
As far as I know, I haven't consulted the official rulebook on ties yet. I've been too busy looking at the section on runners lifting their foot off the base when they try to steal.
And what happens when the lights go out?
That's also the next page of the rulebook. It's weird how they're next to each other. I believe there does have to be a winner, yes. Popped up by Pickens. McCoy waving off. The second baseman Jones makes the catch. Jamie Traxel's Ole Miss team in the World Series, mentioned it earlier, the 9th head coach to take 2 programs here after playing at Division II St. Cloud State. Made her way through the coaching ranks. North Dakota State, head coach there for 6 years, 1 at Iowa State, 3 at Minnesota, and now her 5th at Ole Miss. Ashton Lansdowne, one of her seniors, quickly in the hole. Lansdowne, the former college baseball player who's in her first year at Ole Miss. Played a year of junior college baseball. Georgia Highlands College. We get a home run their way. The fans out in center field. Bleachers are packed tonight for day 2. 2-2 for Lansdowne.
That's a great take too, right there, with how many times Ole Miss is swinging at this rise ball and swinging underneath it. Lindsey Grind is really locating that pitch lower in the zone. Great take there, though, for her to recognize that that one was going to continue to ride out of the zone.
And she takes strike 3. Second of the game for Lindsey Grind.
And so this is a pitch that you just don't see very often. A rise ball that is low and on the outside corner, and it's tough to pick up. So it has that backward rotation. She gets underneath it and gets the top of the zone on the outside corner. Again, a low rise ball like that Grind can spin like that to right-handed hitters, you just don't see it very much.
What makes it such a difficult pitch to pick up?
It's a little bit risky to throw that outside pitch that's more up in the zone on the outside corner, because oftentimes hitters recognize that and barrel it up, but it's just a tough pitch to locate to get underneath it on that side of the plate. You'll see pitchers that oftentimes rise ball pitchers that have a tendency to throw more toward their arm side, so inside to right-handed hitters. It's just a tricky arm position to get underneath that pitch and locate it like that to the outside corner.
She's behind Angelina De Leon, 2-0. The All-American Grind. She told us it took a lot of work to get her rise ball right. She said, nothing has really ever come easy to me athletically. Didn't start pitching until she was 11. Learned the rise when she was 16. But it is a super weapon now.
And she said that they would just, with her dad and her sister who would catch her, would just sit in the basement and practice over and over and over again. And it just took a lot of work for her to get that spin. Not only does she throw with good velocity in the upper 60s, she has tremendous spin on that pitch.
De Leon hits a ground ball to Sinicki. Another low throw that's picked cleanly by McCoy. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Lindsey Grind.
Themselves a little bit shell-shocked by the environment being here at the College World Series, but she said now they have experience, so it's go time. And I think we saw that in the first inning, Kevin.
Yeah, Taylor, no doubt. I mean, they were on go mode from the start. Kyla Shar got on base, stealing on the first pitch, went to third on a foul out to first. And I love this quote from the movie Air, which you heard Taylor talk about. The team was inspired by one of the rules of Nike, which is, of course, an Oregon-based company. We're on offense all the time. That's how they think. And it's how they won the Big Ten and got to 53-9.
Well, and I think, too, just their coaching staff really feeling comfortable in their roles the past couple of years. And Sydney Romero, being a current player as a professional in Athletes Unlimited, being able to be in the dugout and talk to the hitters right before they go on deck, get in their mind, talk about their plan. This is a key, they're all key coaches on this staff, but a key reason why they just wanted to more so define their roles with Sam Martyr over at third base as their, I'd say, main hitting coach, and Sydney Romero and Alyssa Palomino Cardoza also playing a huge role collectively as a staff to get this offense where it needs to be. And then Missy Lombardi freed her up to be able to manage the pitchers, call the game, and just focus on them. But more defined roles for Oregon this year with their coaching staff has paid off offensively.
That is Alyssa. We saw one of 3 multi-time All-Americans on the staff. She's over at first. Sam Martyr down at third. 4-pitch walk started the inning for Emma Cox. And Katie Flannery swings through strike one. You know, just because you're a good coach, player, doesn't mean you'll be a good coach. But the 3 coaches under Missy Lombardi here were not just good players. They were great players. They were great power hitters as well. Flannery pops up a bunt. That's the second popped bunt out of the game as Yamas crashed out. So one away for Ayanna Shaw.
In these bunt situations, Brie Lopez has done a really good job of spinning the ball more up in the zone. No more for her curveball and her changeup, but Nancy Evans, talk about the coaching staff for Oregon, but the coaching staff for Ole Miss with their pitching coach, Nancy Evans, a great pitch caller. So in those bunt situations, she's getting Brie Lopez to spin the ball a little bit more up in the zone. It creates those more pop-up bunts. That was a big out for Brie Lopez to help herself out, execute that pitch, and not let Oregon advance the runner to second base.
Just saw another failed bunt attempt from Shaw. Did not start yesterday. Swings away here, out to left center. Taylor Malvin retires her. What is the best way for an offense that hits for power but has a lot of bunters? What is the best way to attack a pitcher who's going to be more of an up spinner?
Yeah, when you're bunting against them, you start your bunt and your barrel at a certain height, and as soon as you see that the ball is coming out of the hand at anything higher than where your barrel starts, you want to be able to pull back or have an understanding, okay, if it starts here, it's likely going to ride out of the zone. You don't want to go for those pitches that are up in the zone in a bunt situation, knowing you could easily pop it up and just not be a productive out. And that's something that Oregon did so well, is have productive outs in the first inning to be able to advance their base runners, and a large reason why they scored those 2 runs.
Bouchard scored the first of the 2. Ball and a strike for Kai. Her 64th run, which tied the Oregon record. Iseo 2014, Susie Barnes 2007. Foul tip, strike 2.
And Taylor talked about how Sam Marder felt like they started a little bit slow, and Missy Lombardi in her post-game press conference said that we talked a lot about this year about start fast, stay fast, and finish fast. And she felt like they started a little bit slow in the game yesterday, and she said, I think you're gonna see them start fast tomorrow. And they did, answering right back after Ole Miss put that 1 run on the board in the top of the inning.
Said she loved the fight. That's a group that's been waiting all year to be in this moment. But again, the fight was a little late with a tying run in the 7th, or giving up walk-off homer to Jessica Clemens. Bouchard left and out of play.
That's my experience here on this field is so invaluable for your program. This field can just swallow you up if you are not prepared, if you let the nerves take over, if you don't get rid of those nerves quickly. You have to be able to move on, especially after you lose your first game.
Bouchard with all her speed just trying to put it in play, and she does to the left side, and she is out. Angelina De Leon with a cannon from short.
This is a player that she just got out that has 59 stolen bases. 9 times out of 10, that is a hit, but not when you hit it to De Leon, who gets her. Ole Miss is getting a heavy dose of Lindsey Grind's rise ball. Look at the rotation of this pitch and also the pitch location. And when you watch this pitch cross the plate, look at the barrel swing underneath it. That's exactly what she wants with her rise ball, is this swing and miss, and for them to swing and miss underneath it. That's how you know that rise ball is moving. She is spinning it tonight. Lindsey Grind and that rise ball, as the game goes on, likely to expand the zone up and see how much more she can go up in the zone and get Ole Miss to chase that pitch.
And she has been an absolute workhorse this season. Snapped the tie with Auburn's S.J. Guerin for the most games pitched in the country yesterday. So today's number 52. She'd pick up a 30th win with a victory. She'd be the 4th pitcher to do that, the 5th instance of a 30-game winner at Oregon. The last, Sheridan Hawkins 10 years ago. Taylor Malvin to the left side. Great pick at third by Flannery. And another drop throw by McCoy. That's twice in the game to lead off an inning.
We are definitely seeing the most nerves out on defense. This is such a grab by Katie Flannery. That ball was basically behind her, and she got her glove to still be able to field the ground ball. And you can see Grind communicating to McCoy, saying, let it go. Have to be able to move forward. Second time that McCoy has not been able to catch a throw from the left side of her infield. Look at Grind being a leader, talking to her. That's a freshman she's talking to. And look, in the hug. Oh, I love that. But as a pitcher, honestly, you're like kind of mad because you're like, wait, I just threw an out and you just made an error and we should have an out in this inning. But look at the leadership of Grind going to her freshman and talking to her, trying to calm her down. I think Missy Lombardi making sure that she's okay. Kind of an uncharacteristic mistake by McCoy, just checking to make sure after her injury that she is indeed okay and able to play and see the ball okay from her infielders.
You could see there the bruise on the nose. Remember, this is her first game in the field in 2 weeks. Hit by a line drive in the face against Stanford in the regional final. She was an all Big Ten defensive team selection, had only made one error on the year in her first 46 starts at first. 2 tonight, and Ole Miss has the leadoff runner on for the second time. Pone was the first base runner to reach on an error. And Pone drops down a bunt. Flannery from a knee, not in time to first. That's a bunt base hit for the all-SEC left fielder. And the Rebels have the first 2 on.
We talked about bunting off of Brie Lopez and her going more up in the zone, trying to get the pop-up. And Lindsey Grine, a rise ball pitcher, and Pone able to get the top of the ball to put it down. And then use her speed to get down the line. Kind of a push bunt, too. Flannery is so quick over at third base, but you could see from that side angle that Pone, knowing that Flannery was going to charge hard in a bunt situation, tried to push it past her, and Flannery still got it. Made a really athletic play to field it through on her knees.
Ruling on the field was the runner was safe at first base. Oregon is challenging that ruling. The previous play is under further review.
Marty Abzishin informing us it's the first Oregon challenge. Teams have 2 challenges per game. Starting in the 6th inning, you can call for a crew chief review. See if Missy has a case.
I think this one's going to stand.
It's Jones, the second baseman, covering. And that's not enough to overturn, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I think that this one will stay as is, personally.
Jamie Traxel's already calling her safe before Jaden got to the base.
After review, the ruling on first is upheld. The runner is safe. That is Oregon's first challenge of the ball game.
So Malvin, the 9-hitter, and Pone, the leadoff hitter, are on. And they're going hair-spinning mad in the Ole Miss dugout with a 3rd-inning rally on a couple of balls on the ground to third.
And again, Pone was reading how hard Katie Flannery, the third baseman, has been charging. Look at her pull her barrel back and then push through it as well, trying to get that bunt more past Flannery and put it in a perfect position in between Grine and Flannery. Great barrel control by Jaden Pone to put that ball exactly where she wanted to, get the top half of the ball and put pressure on Oregon's defense to make a play.
Missy Lombardi is making a mid-inning defensive substitution. Stephanie Maake, who started at first base yesterday, is coming in for Riley McCoy. And Des Patman, who was the designated player, goes out to right. So that knocks Ayanna Shaw out of the game for the time being. And Riley McCoy will go to the designated player spot. Two errors by McCoy, and then after the ensuing bunt single, she moves out of the field, stays in the lineup against Maake in the 9th spot for Shaw, and Patman goes into the field to play right. So here's Lear Boutte. Will it be another bunt situation? It will. Boutte pulled back on ball 1. First pitch balls now to 9 out of 11 hitters by Lindsey Grine. Boutte does not have a sacrifice bunt this year. And she's in a 2-0 count. See, nobody was covering second there. He saw Sinicki wheeling behind to third. Malvin and Pone, very good runners. Boutte takes a strike. Throw through from Cox is a little late.
Emma Cox has such a beautiful throw down to second base, and she is so quick. Throws from her knees. Her transfer is so quick. Glove goes to bare hand, quickly gets the ball to her throwing hand. I mean, her throw is so beautiful.
3-1 count now on Lair Boutte. Cox trying to pump her pitcher up. Freshman, the latest in a strong line of Oregon catchers. Boutte not bunting anymore, and she's in a full count.
Actually ran through the ball, or ran through the box, showing a slap. Trying to get the ball on the ground and try to advance these runners.
3-2. Boutte, ground ball to third. Flannery gets one. Flannery gets two. A double play from corner to corner.
Flannery has been tested in this inning over and over again, and now she gets to turn a double play, hit right to her, touch three, throw all the way across the diamond. Plenty of time. That is a major out when Ole Miss has been putting pressure on this defense. They needed those 2 outs. What a turn in this inning.
Pone, the only runner now at second, and here's Aaliyah Binford, their RBI leader. Binford pops the first pitch out of play.
That's why that bunt attempt was going to be so important, to be able to advance those runners 60 feet. Instead, it turns into a double play. No execution on that. Not a productive out.
Binford left center, a rising liner right to Kedri Lushar. A wild third inning had Oregon on the ropes, but the Ducks wriggle free. They've got a 2-1 lead on a winner go home Friday night. This Oregon team's been fueled by 2 senior sisters, Kai Lushar, a little bit older, then Kedri Lushar, who's batting now. They've had amazing seasons, and look, they were made for this moment. They were athletes their whole life, always in competition, Kai and Kedri. Some wonderful pictures of those two growing up. They would do everything. They'd be running up hills. They'd play softball. They'd ride their bikes through muddy rivers. These are the children of some rodeo parents. They're in a rodeo family. They caught the bug. Mom Judy and Dad Steve. There they are hanging out in one of the trailers. A whole lot of memorable road trips for Kedri and Kai Lushar as kids who just loved being together, loved competing, and now love that they get to play together on softball's biggest stage.
And Steve, their dad, is a big reason why they're so competitive. He challenged them as young kids. They would get 5 cents if they made an out in a game. He also would have them throw into a bucket. If they made that, it was $1. And then the best one was they had to race up a hill. If they finished in under 2 minutes, they got a trampoline. And of course we asked, and they both blurted out, of course we got the trampoline.
Yeah, no doubt that they were going to get the trampoline. They're the Lushar sisters. What can't they do? Kedri batting against Brie Lopez now. Also told us one time she made a half-court shot and got $100. So sometimes it was a nickel, sometimes it was a quarter, and sometimes it was a half-court shot for a whole lot of nickels.
Well, I'll tell you what, they got all these different instances of being competitive and something on the line, wanting to earn it, wanting to get it. I mean, how cute is this picture and all the pictures that they sent in? I absolutely love them. But these are sisters who grew up calf roping, barrel racing, team roping, ribbon running. I don't even know what ribbon running is, but they did it, and all these different athletic things that turn them into the athletes and the competitors that they are here at the World Series.
And Kedri Lushar's journey has continued at Oregon. She's just burst onto the scene out of nowhere this year. An All-American after really being a part-time player her first 3 years. Kedri only started 32 games her first 3 seasons. She started 59 this year, hitting .443. As she lofts a ball high into right center for Lair Boutte. So Brie Lopez has the leadoff out in the third against this very dangerous portion of the Duck lineup. Riley McCoy staying in the game even though she was taken out of the field. See her taking a deep breath in a game where she's committed 2 missed catch errors at first.
Really aggressive early in the count. This is a hitter who has really worked to get everything that she's gotten. She wasn't a starter in travel ball with Mike Stith's Batbusters team. We've heard a lot about them. A lot of players end up here at the World Series. Mike Stith, one of the best travel ball coaches in the country, and that Batbuster organization. And so she wanted to come in and prove what she can do and put in the hard work. She has been so coachable. Sam Marder told us, always there, always working on her craft.
Got off to a great start this season in the early season Mary Nutter Classic. She went 7 for 16 with 4 homers. Oregon went 5-0 in that competition. 2-2 from Brie Lopez here. No earned runs against Lopez. A couple of unearned in the first inning after an error by Lansdell. McCoy runs it full. 19 homers, tied an Oregon record. Second best slugging percentage in a season in Duck history. A 3-2 is outside. Riley McCoy with their 19th walk of the year, and the Ducks have their second of the game. Now here's Paige Sinicki, who singled, stole a base, and scored in that first inning. Senior from Henderson, Nevada. Missy Lombardi told us how Paige is now is exactly how Paige was as a freshman. She's been calling athletes up to the standard since she was a freshman. There are some of her career accolades. 219 start today, 192nd in a row at shortstop, and a 3-time conference all-defensive team and a national all-defensive player, essentially last year winning the Rawlings Gold Glove for college shortstops.
And when she was in 8th grade, she would travel to play with the Corona Angels with Marty Tyson. You mentioned they're from Henderson, Nevada, and she wanted to be able to compete at a higher level. So her family decided that in order to get better, she needed to play with the best. So every Friday, she would travel down I-15 south to make hitting lessons at night. And then on Saturday and Sunday, put in practice or play games. And she would be traveling 3 hours one way, make a road trip just to be able to play competitive softball. That's a dedication that Paige Sinicki has had from a young age.
Scored the tying run last night and the go-ahead run in the first inning in this elimination game today. Taylor, what you got on Paige Sinicki?
She's dedicated to her craft and dedicated to breaking in her glove the proper way. We asked her about it, and she has it down to a system with particular ball she uses, and then she has the equipment manager, Brooke Burns, utilize special conditioner on it to make sure it is up to par.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated breaking in gloves. That was a delegation opportunity for me at a young age. I know that you're supposed to take pride and do it on your own and the whole nine, but that's where my dad really stepped in, or somebody else who really liked to do that on the team. There's always somebody who wants to.
Sinicki, left center field, down for a hit in front of a diving Melvin, and there go the Ducks. You give them an inch, they'll take a base. McCoy to third, and Sinicki drops in a double. She's at second.
And Taylor Malvin was playing pretty deep, respecting the power of Sinicki. She gets a little bit jammed with this curveball, doesn't get all of it, but she's able to get enough of it to put it out in front of Malvin, who was playing so deep, opened up a lot of grass in front of her. McCoy gets all the way to third base, of course, had to hold up a little bit to see if Malvin would reach it. And then Sinicki, the backside runner, the ball is in front of her. She sees it down. She saw it get past her a little bit and sneaks into second base. Great base running, as you mentioned. This Oregon team prides themselves on taking extra 60 feet and being aggressive whenever they can.
That moves to Sinicki to a .417 average with runners on base this year. And a couple of runners are on. In fact, it's another second and third scenario for Des Patman, who singled in two in the first. And Lopez, with a couple of off-speed strikes, starts her 0-2. Oregon, the highest batting average in the country with runners in scoring position, a cool .390. And their 44 home runs with runners in scoring position coming into the tournament, or into the World Series anyway, tied for the most in the country. Timeout taken by Oregon here. Sam Marder, the third base coach, with a few words of encouragement for Patman.
I wonder if she talked to her about looking for this changeup, another changeup in an 0-2 count. See what Brie Lopez comes with. Does she waste a pitch and go back to the changeup? Goes right back to it. 49 miles an hour outside corner. Good piece of hitting as Patman sunk into her legs and able to get rid of that pitch. You see her pat herself on her stomach, engage those abs, stay connected. Constant reminders to yourself when you're at the plate, whatever it takes to get in the zone.
The senior from Riverside, California, with an 0-2 hole way upstairs. Lost the handle, Brie Lopez did, on ball one. She's been in all kinds of big spots for Ole Miss the last couple of years. Transfer from Hawaii in her World Series debut. Patman swings through another changeup, a major strikeout for Lopez.
This pitch is nasty. She continued to change speeds all throughout this at bat. Went to her off-speed curveball. That is a different spin coming out of her hand than her changeup. Way out in front of that pitch, not expecting her to continue to change speeds time and time again in that AB.
And then a pop-up from Kaylin Jones. What a job by Brie Lopez. Second and third, one out. Escapes with nothing. One-run game into the fourth.
Easy pop-up on the first pitch to Lansdale. Something that Jamie Traxel had said about Brie Lopez earlier. She is like the water that you can skip a rock across 10 times. That is how calm, cool, and collected that Brie Lopez is in the circle in those big moments.
Hasn't given up an earned run today. Keeps her team within one in this elimination game. And the middle of the order coming up. Percy Yamas. First pitch swinging over to short. Sinicki boots the backhand. And that is a Blue Moon event. The reigning Gold Glover in the nation with just her 8th error at short this year. Oh, it's called a hit for Yamas, beg your pardon.
I think that this should be an error. Tries to go down to her backhand, but just can't clean it fieldly. We have seen a case of the bobbles on both infields tonight. Actually, it is going to get changed to an error, as it should.
That's 3 out of 4 innings that have started with an Oregon error. This was the third best defense by fielding percentage in the country. Came into the game with 29 errors in 62 games, and they've already made 3. So a pinch runner over at first, Taylor Strain, and Lexi Brady fouls away strike one. Big moment here for one of the big batters in Ole Miss history. Takes ball one. No swing on the appeal down to first. Lexi Brady, the 5th most home runs in Ole Miss history in her career, 34, a single season record, 17 this year. And chases strike two from Lindsey Grine.
That's where that drop ball can be so effective, because you're trying to see something down in the zone with her rise ball. You don't want to chase up, and then you see something down, get excited to hit it, and then it falls off the table with her drop.
One and two for Brady, who was originally committed to Jamie Traxel, Minnesota, way back in 2019. Decided to follow her down to Oxford instead, all the way from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Chases strike three, and a strikeout for Grine is her third.
So Lindsey Grine really works her low rise ball outside to Lexi Brady in this pitch sequence. She starts her out outside with the low rise and gets her to chase that pitch, goes back to it, doesn't get the call, and then decides to go down the zone with her drop ball a couple of times, then back up to the outside rise ball. The same way that she started that sequence, she ended it for the K.
In the dirt to Mackenzie Pickens. That skips away, and the pinch runner Strain takes second on Grine's second wild pitch.
Going to that drop ball, and Emma Cox just can't keep it in front. Looked like it was supposed to be outside, a little bit more inside, as she had to block and move toward the inside corner. Lindsey Grine has worked around just some extra 60 feet given up by your defense left and right, by yourself. It's not been necessarily clean on defense for Oregon tonight at all.
That was her 8th wild pitch of the NCAA tournament alone. She came into the game 3-0 with a 2.96 ERA, but she's been erratic at times. Couple of hit batters, 8 wild pitches. And now 3-0 to the freshman Mackenzie Pickens. Ole Miss has had some major traffic 3 of the 4 innings. Strike one down the middle.
Likely going to continue to go to that rise ball to get back into the count, and Pickens has to keep her barrel above it. And a hitter's count expects something up.
Ball, it's inside.
She got something in. Good patient plate appearance by the freshman Pickens. And Ole Miss has 2 runners on for the 2nd straight inning. Grine's first walk of the game, and Missy Lombardi has spent a lot of time in the circle today. She'll make a 4th inning visit.
You know, just that constant reassurance of seeing your head coach and your pitching coach come out with this smile and say, "You're good, you're good." It's what you want to hear as a pitcher. You never get tired of hearing it, no matter the moment or the situation.
Never? It doesn't ever get old?
Never gets old.
What don't you want to hear your coach say?
Throw strikes.
Throw strikes? You're good is okay. Throw strikes?
Oh yeah, throw strikes. Like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do out here.
Again, 3 errors have hampered the night for Grind. 3 errors by her defense behind her. And here's a pinch hitter for Ole Miss. It'll be Taylor Roman. Roman just a .294 on base percentage, but 7 of her 12 hits have gone for extra bases. She bats for Ashton Lansdale. 2 on, 1 out. Roman taking a first pitch strike.
They've liked her at bats in the NCAA tournament with bringing her in. Pinch hitting this season, 2 for 12, had a home run in regionals, been putting her into these types of situations, hoping that pop off her bat and she can come through.
Ball.
Off the corner for ball 1. Transfer from Louisiana. Strain and Pickens are the runners. Roman, big swing, got it off the end of the barrel to left. Could see the power potential, but Grind kept it off the sweet spot.
A little bit out in front of it, and good swing just underneath it off the end of the bat. You saw the vibration of that barrel all the way down to her hand.
Angelina De Leon now.
Ball.
1 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight for Ole Miss. 2 for 9 with runners on base. De Leon rips right through a rise.
Just continuing to throw that rise ball through the zone. That pitch is spinning well. She's getting continued swings and misses off of it. It's been tough to barrel up. Remember, off of the rise ball, opponents hitting just 176.
One of the 6 seniors in the Ole Miss lineup. Ready for a 1-1. Checks her swing. That ball hit her. That's a dead ball. It's 1-2.
I just love the way that Grind is spinning her rise ball. Working it outside at the knees, about mid-thigh height, and then being able to bring that pitch up and in on the hands. Think, okay, I'm going to see a rise ball outside, and then she brings it right back in to brush you off of the plate.
Trying to strike away from escaping this 4th inning jam. Went off speed, off the glove of Cox. Runners hold. Angelina De Leon had the first hit of the game yesterday against Nyjah Kennedy. That came in the 6th. She was stranded at second in that inning, trying not to strain at second here. Up and away. And the count is full. If you're De Leon, what are you looking here?
Outside rise ball. That's what she's been going to against these right-handed hitters.
Runners will be moving on 3-2, and it was an inside pitch torched foul.
They got a lot of plate, too. That was down the heart of the plate, and you see the swing that Leon put on it, or De Leon put on it. Of course, she's trying to protect with 2 strikes anyway, but that was a meaty pitch that she just was out in front of.
Can Grind avert disaster? Fouled away, not caught by Cox.
You can see her moving to the outside corner for that low rise ball there. Umpire is going to give her just a second. We've seen catchers get beat up this entire postseason. Ugh. Right back to the face.
Doesn't look pretty on the ump cam worn by Aaron Peterson. Cox will stay in there for an 8th pitch. Strain at second, the tying run. Pickens behind her at first. It's another 3-2. And it's ball 4. De Leon draws the walk. The senior in her 160th Ole Miss start has loaded up the bases. And Ole Miss has a substitution of some sort coming. Taylor Malvin's spot is due up. And it's not going to be Taylor Malvin. This is Rachel Connors, the pinch hitter. What a big spot this is for a freshman who's only come to the plate 17 times this year. And Connors swings through strike 1 in just her 3rd at-bat of the tournament. 4 for 13, does have a walk, has been hit by 2 pitches. So she's been on base 7 out of 17. And Connors fouls away strike 2.
And look at Bryant go right at her too. Pinch hitter, bases loaded, lead off on deck. I mean, this is a pitcher who is going to attack this hitter, knows exactly what's at stake, going right at her with Connors not seeing her yet in this game.
Strain, Pickens, and De Leon the runners. It's an 0-2 for the freshman pinch hitter. Got a piece and stays alive. And Cox took another foul tip uncomfortably. Been a rough sequence for her. I don't know if the Mission Impossible theme music will make her feel better. And she'll choose to accept a return behind the plate as the Oregon team and the umpires give her a moment to recalibrate. All the buildings Ethan Hunt has climbed, he could never be a catcher. Another 0-2. Connors, a slow ground ball to second. Grind gets out of it. A great escape to strand 3 Ole Miss runners in the 4th.
Oregon leads 2-1 as we go to the.
Despite 3 errors, have the lead. Taylor, they came into this tournament the 3rd best fielding percentage in Division I, and they've mostly worked around those errors. Only the 1 unearned run. Look, this is an Oregon team, Amanda. Maybe not as high a caliber of competition as some teams in the tournament. Big Ten was not bad this year, but not the same level the Pac-12 used to be typically. But they go 19-3, and they're the only team in the nation in the top 10 in runs per game, in ERA, and in fielding percentage.
And earning that top 16 seed was huge. Whenever the bracket came out, you're always wondering who's going to get the 8 seed, who's going to get the last top national seed, and Oregon grabbed it as a 16th seed and was able to host. And then with A&M losing, they got to host a super regional. So having that home field advantage to help them get here for the first time in several years.
Emma Cox grounds the ball foul against Bri Lopez. Oregon is the 3rd 16 seed to make it here. 20th year of the top 16 seeds, the super regional format. Hawaii was the first to do it in 2010, and then Georgia in 2016. Both of those 16 seeds won day 1 and lost the next 2. Oregon, after losing day 1, is trying to make it to Sunday with a win here. Fifth most wins ever in a season, 3 shy of the record. 56 wins under Mike White in 2014. And of course, we'll see Mike White's Texas team tomorrow afternoon.
Well, Oregon had to travel for regionals last year to Oklahoma, and Paige Sinicki said she remembered leaving Oklahoma last year and saying, there is no way I'm going to leave college without ever hosting a regional.
Jammed into center, and that's caught by Pickens down to a knee. Well, the Women's College World Series Finals, where these teams are trying to get, begins Wednesday. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Unhealthier the better, the nachos here. Yeah, a little sauce, a little seasoning. Maybe some bacon bits on there.
Definitely bacon bits on there. Although if that sauce, or was it cheese, I don't know what it was, but it looked a little light. Seemed like that amount of chips needed a little bit more sauce on it.
Do you think that the customer at the stand said light cheese? Probably not, because I don't think anyone's ever used the phrase light cheese when ordering ballpark nachos. 1-0 for Katie Flannery. By the way, you mentioned Oregon lost at Oklahoma last year. If they win tonight, they'll play the loser of the Texas-Oklahoma game on Sunday, which means it's either Missy Lombardi against Oklahoma, her old team, team that knocked them out, or it's Oregon against their former head coach, Mike White. Either way, you want drama, we'll have drama if Oregon pulls it off on Sunday night against a familiar foe. Ole Miss and Brie Lopez trying to spoil that, set up an all-SEC game. Ripped into left by Flannery, but right at Jaden Poe.
I mean, Brie Lopez just keeps trucking along against these hitters. Back against the wall last inning, runners at second and third, less than 2 outs, found a way to get out of it, and then continuing that momentum with 2 outs and with two runners in scoring position into this inning in the fourth.
Really pitched well after struggling in the Super Regional against Arkansas. Gave up 9 earned runs in 9 innings, starting all 3 of the games. Had 8 flyouts in the game, and now a first pitch ground out from Ma'ake. Nobody scored since the first, and Ole Miss will send up the top of the lineup. The greatest party in softball, the Women's College World Series for the 43rd time. 2-1 lead for Oregon. Ole Miss's first trip to the World Series dance, and they're hoping not to be 2 and out. Both teams scoring in the first inning because of some defensive mistakes. No earned runs in the game. And Lindsey Grind going to face the top of the order for a 3rd time. And she hits Jaden Pone to lead off the 5th inning. So for the 4th time in 5 innings, Ole Miss has the leadoff batter on.
There's so many of these coaches talk about the importance of getting that leadoff hitter on and just creating momentum early in the inning for your offense. And now it's going to come down to execution for Ole Miss.
Missy Lombardi's already used a challenge. Wonder if she's going to ask for one on this hit by pitch.
And talking to the umpire about where this pitch hit Pone, if her elbow was in the river. Happens quick. It is borderline river, though, that's for sure.
Can you, for our new softball viewers, define the river?
Yeah, the river, in the area in between the plate and the chalk line of the batter's box.
So it's close, but Missy Lombardi chooses not to use a challenge. Here's Boutte looking for her first sack bunt of the year. She'll get it. Tried for one in the 3rd, ended up not getting the bunt down, grounding into a double play. Here, she advances the tying run to second. She's limping off the field.
Remember, she had an opportunity too in her last at bat to put down a sac bunt and didn't do it. Hit into a double play, so wasting no time. First pitch she sees, gets that bunt down. Good execution.
Here's Aaliyah Binford. Swings and misses at strike one. Binford, great start yesterday. 6 innings of an unearned run. She's 0 for 5 at the plate. She's hit the ball hard a couple of times, though.
She has, and it's because when she swings hard. She does not hold back. She goes all in. Has made some hard contact here. Nothing to show for it.
0-1 pitch. Binford has twice batted tonight with Pone at second base. Lined out to short in the first, lined out to center in the third. Again, the all-time single season RBI leader in her only year at Ole Miss. And she rips this one just foul. My goodness. 4 home runs in the tournament for Binford, tied for the most among any player in the field. A couple of years ago had a season-ending torn cartilage and meniscus injury at Baylor. Last year came back, led them to within 1 game of the World Series. Now here she is at Ole Miss, leading them to the World Series. Can she deliver the big hit? A little ground ball poked to right. That's Jones for the out. Pone is at third, but there are 2 away again.
It's a big out, but also a productive out to move Pone up 60 feet. But with how well Binford has been seeing some of these pitches, hitting it hard. Soft contact for the easy out.
Big hitter, Percy Yamas. Missy Lombardi's going to slow this thing down before the fabulous freshman. Percy Yamas has had so many big hits this season, including the run-scoring single in the first here. And Missy Lombardi's going to head out to the circle and bring in a new pitcher to face her. So Oregon will go to the bullpen here for their lone lefty, Stacey Chambers, who got some big outs in relief in the Super Regional. And let's see here, it's another hug from starter to reliever. Lindsey Grind turns over the ball, turns over a 1-run lead to Stacey Chambers. Stacey Chambers through the final 2 1/3 innings scoreless in Game 1 of the Super Regional. With 2 1/3 to go here in the World Series, she comes on with a tying run at third to face Percy Yamas.
Bringing in the lefty for this lefty-on-lefty matchup. Stacey Chambers will go to her curveball a lot as well as her changeup. Senior with a lot of experience entering into this game, going up against Yamas, who had some hard hits off of Lindsey Grind. So Missy Lombardi trying to respect the at-bats that Yamas has had off of Grind, the righty, and bring in the lefty to go up against her.
So Grind went 5 innings yesterday, 96 pitches, 4 2/3 today. Exits the game, at least for now, with 80 pitches. Remember, she could re-enter. And this is why you bring in Stacey Chambers to face a lefty. 135, the opponent's batting average. Yamas rips the first one out of play.
Welcome to the game, Stacey Chambers, with that swing right there. Yamas, again, the freshman, clutch, calm, looking to hit in these RBI situations as a freshman.
Her base hit drove in the only run for Ole Miss in the World Series in the first. And she's behind 0-2. Remember, her first at-bat in college. First of her college career was a pinch hit, game-winning 3-run homer against Clemson. Huge home runs down the stretch in the postseason, including against Florida in the SEC tournament. Trying to dig out of an 0-2 hole in the 5th, and she'll take ball 1.
That's a great stop by Emma Cox to keep that ball in front, anticipating that ball to be a little bit higher, turned her glove, got it down to that pitch lower in the zone that easily could have gotten behind her.
Ole Miss 1 for 7 runners in scoring position tonight. The tying run at third. 2-2.
Another good reaction by Emma Cox.
So smaller sample size, but Percy Yamas 10 for 27 against lefties. And last week, the last lefty she saw, great Robin Herron of Arkansas, she singled against her in her last left-on-left at-bat. 2-2.
Stacey Chambers likes to go to that changeup. It's her second most used pitch behind her curveball, but Yamas on these swings are a little bit behind her speed right now. So if you throw that changeup, you have to be careful. Yamas is not a hitter that strikes out very often at all.
In fact, she did not strike out the first 81 at-bats of her college career. Sixth pitch from Chambers. That's ripped into right. It's another left-on-left hit for Yamas. Both of Ole Miss hits with runners in scoring position from this freshman who has no pulse.
In this freshman that got better pitch by pitch in this at-bat. Swung and missed early in the count, was behind the curveball, and then gets one over the heart of the plate, down in the zone, right into her swing path, and she is on time. Look at that extension. Percy Yamas, you mentioned it. No pulse, no heartbeat. All she knows to do in the postseason is come up with a clutch hit for Ole Miss. She ties up this game.
She had been just 1 for 14 since the start of Super Regionals. She is 2 for 3 with 2 ribby singles tonight.
And think of the execution as well in this inning by Ole Miss. Lair Boutte getting down that bunt after hitting into a double play. Binford advancing the runner to third base. Likely she would have scored anyway on a hit to the outfield, but great execution by Ole Miss to give Yamas that chance to score the runner.
And Chambers is 1 and done. Elise Sokolski checks in out of the bullpen. A 2-2 game. It's the first earned run for either team in the game, as Yamas has singled home Pone for a second time. 2 of the 3 all-SEC players for Ole Miss. The leadoff hitter, senior, the cleanup hitter, the freshman, have combined to tie this game.
And Sokolski enters into this game, and she's able to throw both up and down in the zone. That rise ball, she can work on the outside corner. Like Rise, has that backward rotation to it. And as well go down the zone with her drop ball, mix in her changeup, has great spin, but up and down the zone, rise, drop, change, her 2 most used pitches. Her teammates in Missy Lombardi rave about that changeup, though. She will need that here with how aggressive Ole Miss is, the big hacks that they're taking. That changeup will come in handy.
And you know it's going to be a party when Ole Miss gets to a national tournament. It's a hotty-toddy dance party down the first base line right now. The 2 singles by Yamas to tie it. RBIs in the 1st and 5th. And now the big bopper Brady. 8 freshmen for this Ole Miss team. 8 transfers, completely new staff under Jamie Traxel. This is the year they targeted, year 5 under Jamie Traxel. Said she told this group they recruited them together to elevate this program to a place that it's never been, and that place is right here. Over to third, Flannery ends the inning. One batter too late for Oregon. Why not the Ole Miss Rebels? Why not Percy Yamas, the freshman with the 2 biggest swings of her career? A 2-2 game here on Elimination Friday. All 4 of the runs have come with 2 outs. Percy Yamas drove in Jaden Pone with a first inning single. That was an unearned run. Oregon also had a couple of unearned runs after a leadoff error. Des Patman drove in Kai Lushar and Paige Sinicki. And then Yamas came through again. Pone hit by a pitch, sacrificed to second, went to third on a ground out. And the lefty freshman's second RBI single has tied this game. Let's go down to Taylor.
That means the Ole Miss rally wigs are in full of force. There were 3 wigs purchased before the beginning of the season by members of this team. They started wearing them to practice, eventually to games. Coach thought they were a bit of a distraction, though, so they were eventually passed off to Keyshawn, who's Jaden Pone's boyfriend. This is him right here. He wore them for the first time in the regular season against Arkansas. They won. And since then, they've been in full effect. They are 12-4, their record, so only 4 losses, one of those coming in the first game of this tournament. So they're the lucky wigs over there. They call them the rally wigs, and Keyshawn right there, he has been in charge of them.
And Keyshawn looks so good in blue, Taylor. And there's another pair of rally wigs. They've got the good boy hat as well. That's also become a sort of rally cap for this group. They're a very loose group. That mix of 6 seniors that start, a whole bunch of freshmen, 8 of them in the lineup, newcomers, transfers, really remade the roster in the program this year, and they just got the personalities right. So now a 2-2 game, and Brie Lopez gives up a slapped hit to Kylu Shar, not settling for 1. She is in there with a double off the glove of Lansdale at third.
Lansdale is playing up, just anticipating something in front of her, knowing that she has to be quick with Lushar's speed, and Lushar just beats her. Notices that she's playing up, goes more to her power slap, hits it hard right at her. She's about halfway up the line and easily able to get to second base. So lead off this inning, Oregon has a lot of wheels at second base in scoring position.
That's just her 4th double and 5th extra base hit of the year, Kylu Shar. Her 83rd hit, 4th in the history of this wonderful program. And here's her sister, Kedri, who will drop down a beautiful bunt to third, and the throw gets away. Lansdale airmails it. Kai has scored. Kedri goes all the way to third. The Ducks are back in front. This may be their first rodeo in Oklahoma City, but they're sure not playing like it.
Just continued pressure on the third baseman with speed in all different ways. First a power slap, and now a bunt in front of her that had crazy spin to it. Took a right turn. Lansdale probably thought that was going to go foul, but then it stayed fair. She knew she had to rush. Again, this is what speed does to you. It puts pressure on you to be perfect, to rush. And Oregon has a ton of this speed. The Lushar sisters, the seniors, so we talked about at the top of the show, strike again. And the seniors have come through in this game with Sinicki, Kai Lushar, and Kedri Lushar putting pressure on another senior, Ashton Lansdale at third base.
The bunt single, then a 2-base error. Oregon gives up the lead in the 5th and takes it back 3 pitches later. Kai Lushar with her first double since March 9th against Florida State. scores an Oregon record 65th run. And though it's not an RBI, I'm sure she'd feel it's as appropriate as possible that her sister delivered the hit on the play where she scored the run. Now Riley McCoy can double the lead and takes one in the dirt. McCoy, the top 3 National Freshman of the Year finalist, takes one very high from Bri Lopez.
A shift on the left side with Pickens again, the second baseman, coming over to play right next to De Leon, anticipating something on the pull side off of McCoy's bat, and then Llamas playing off the line at first base.
McCoy, left center field, up the gap to bring in another run. Riley McCoy with a real big swing, and Oregon has 2 here in the 5th for a 4-2 lead.
When Oregon's offense is playing its best, this is exactly what it looks like. Speed mixed with power. McCoy finds herself in a hitter's count, and she sits back on a changeup in that hitter's count and is able to drive it hard up the middle of the field, find a gap. Oregon offense is rolling, a multi-dimensional type offense that Sam Marder and Missy Lombardi and the coaching staff at Oregon have put together, and it is answering back in a big way in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Riley McCoy replaced for a pinch runner after setting the new single-season extra base hit record at Oregon. Just snapped out of a 4-way tie for first with her 32nd extra base hit.
Look at this embrace in that moment, connection with Sydney Romero, who we've talked about on the coaching staff with Oregon. What a cool moment right there. Probably looked up to Sydney Romero, works with her a lot, keeping them engaged in the dugout and positive before their at-bats.
Elise Crescio, the pinch runner in her steed. It's a 4-2 Oregon lead. And there's an all-staff meeting in the circle for Ole Miss. And it looks like Bri Lopez will leave this game in a 4-2 situation. So 3 straight hits from Kai and Kedru Lushar, and then Riley McCoy. You mentioned it, Oregon at its best. Power and speed, great youth and experience. And Ole Miss is going to go to the bullpen here in a 4-2 game and a 5th. Miley Wichenio will take over for Brianna Lopez. Her World Series debut is a good one through 4 innings for sure. But the Ducks get to her the 3rd time through the order as Wichenio, great strikeout pitcher, will try to stop the bleeding. We began with 8 teams. We'll be down to 6 by the end of the night. And perhaps down to just 3 SEC teams if Ole Miss doesn't rally. So Wichenio misses inside to Sinicki, who's had a terrific night at the plate. Her 20th bunt single of the year in the 1st, stole 2nd, scored a run on a Des Patman single, then doubled in the 3rd. And she shows bunt again. Lexi Brady's wondering either where did that miss or was it an attempt, and it's ball 2. And the pinch runner Crescio out at 2nd on 2-0. Another bunt that's fouled away.
And Wachenio will use her rise ball a lot, as well as a screwball and a changeup, but a lot of upspin from Wachenio in a bunt situation. Just tough to get that down. Just a freshman, had an incredible start to the season, just was piling up strikeouts, kind of came out of nowhere, caught the nation's attention right away with how well she was pitching.
Inside and low to Sinicki. See if she keeps the butt on 3-1. She will. She'll lay it down. And Lansdale makes an accurate throw this time. It's a sacrifice 5-4. And the pinch runner Crescio's down at third. Another dugout dance party after the sac bunt for Sinicki. And here's Patman with a runner at third, 1 out.
Well, we talked to Sam Marder about Des Patman and her just clutch gene that she's had in the postseason. One word that she called her is fearless, but then the other part that she said about Des Patman is that she believes she can be successful no matter what has happened before. She stays neutral, and every time she steps up, she believes that she can go do it.
Here's Jamie Traxel after ball 1, maybe to make a defensive substitution. Nobody's up in the Ole Miss bullpen. She does have Aaliyah Binford available, who started yesterday, and in fact Aaliyah Binford's going to come out of the dugout and take over in a 1-0 count. All right, so Jamie Traxel did not like what she saw in just 6 pitches from the freshman Wachenio, and she'll turn it over to Binford, who pitched brilliantly against Texas Tech yesterday. 6 innings and only 1 unearned run.
And Binford will come in and have a change of speed and a change of pace. A senior who just has so much confidence, and she's shown that all throughout this season and her final season, transferring over from Baylor to Ole Miss. That changeup is one of her best pitches 35% of the time. Hitters like to chase that, but her drop ball is her go-to pitch. She'll throw almost 40% of the time.
It's 4-2 Oregon, partly courtesy of a double by Riley McCoy, who's had an up and down day. It started down. First batter of the game drops a throw from Paige Sinicki, her second error of the year. Then in the 3rd inning, drops a throw from Katie Flannery, her 3rd. Got a hug from Lindsey Grind. Shortly after was taken out of the game defensively, but they kept her bat in the lineup.
Just staying in it, being able to put that in the past, move forward and fight with her team. This Oregon team, and Ole Miss is really similar in the sense that they have this senior veteran leadership at the top that kind of guides the way, and these talented freshmen that fill out the rest of their lineup, and Riley McCoy being one of those freshmen getting her first taste of OKC.
And we saw an embrace after the hit between Riley and Sid Romero, and Missy Lombardi said this team reminds her of the Oklahoma team when Sid Romero was a freshman. It was a young group with some older key athletes that forced them to play at a high level. There's a bunt with 1 out. Patman knocks it foul.
And a little squeeze play. Crescio was in motion on that. Oregon's offense so breaking through in the 5th inning, just 3 hits through their first 4 innings and 3 hits in this 5th inning alone.
4 straight productive plate appearances. Patman nicks this one 2 out of play. She drove in those first 2 runs with a 1st inning 2-out single. Chases strike 3 here.
And this is why you bring in the senior. You're down by 2 runs. Your freshman is showing some nerves, not able to find the strike zone so quickly. Bring in somebody like Binford, who showed a lot of confidence yesterday, and her outing was comfortable pitching on this field, going at the clutch hitter and Patman, getting the strikeout with her drop ball that not only was moving down, but away from Patman, who was struck out in back-to-back ABs.
Binford had 1 strikeout against 24 batters yesterday. Gets one right out of the dugout here and then throws a dart to Kaylin Jones. Jones 0 for 2 on 2 total pitches her first 2 trips to the plate. Takes a changeup for a strike.
Of the way that she's pounding the zone right here, and just looking out at Ole Miss after the error that we've seen and the couple of runs answered back by Oregon, they're looking a little bit deflated. They need to use Binford's momentum that she's creating in the circle right now to lift them up.
Ole Miss will have 6, 7, and 8 coming up in the 6th inning, which means at a minimum they'll get the top of the lineup up once more in the next 2 innings. Just got a piece. It's still 0-2.
And how about Oregon just answering back in both of the innings that Ole Miss has scored in the top half of the inning? It's so defeating, but their response has been spot on in the 1st and then spot on here in the 5th.
Jones, a 2nd team All Big Ten pick as a freshman. Slashes one out of play. 343 hitter, 419 on base. Very good defender and base stealer in her first college year. Trying to bring in that pinch runner Crescio down from 3rd. She's fighting hard to do so. Has fouled off 4 0-2 pitches. Remember, Oregon this year 8-0 after a loss, having outscored opponents 72-2. Been a little tighter tonight. They've given up as many runs as they did the first 8 times after a loss, but they've got a 2-run lead. And Jones takes ball 1.
It's a great at bat by Kaylin Jones, fouling off some pitches, taking that close pitch there that Binford wanted, but they're a little bit off the plate, knowing that she's working from ahead.
8 pitch. Up the middle and through. Maybe the at-bat of the World Series for Oregon. It took 8 pitches, but Kaylin Jones comes through to make it 5-2.
That really was just an awesome at-bat. Binford came in, struck out Patman, went right at Jones, and then Jones just did not go away. Found a mistake with 2 strikes up in the zone. That pitch is elevated. She's on time with it, able to drive it right back up the middle of the field. I'm telling you, Ole Miss and Aaliyah Binford were trying to grab back the momentum and pick up the bats to be able to answer back. That was a dagger to Ole Miss with the Jones freshman RBI.
Now 14 for 28 in the NCAA tournament. Kaylin Jones makes it a 3-run 5th inning for the Ducks. This has been much more like it for Oregon's offense. Emma Cox is the 7th Duck batter of the 5th.
That 1 run, that 1 extra run off the bat of Jones, just to me makes this game feel so different. Not saying that Ole Miss can't come back. We've seen it happen before.
Ball 4 to Cox. Jones to 2nd. So outside of the Patman strikeout, Ducks have had 6 productive plate appearances in the inning. And hey, Patman had the 2-run single in the first, so no big thing that she struck out here. They've gotten contributions from everybody in the lineup 1 through 7. Flannery, the 8-hitter, starts 0-1. Ducks, who were tied for 23rd to begin the season, made it all the way up to number 3 by week 12 because of a weaker strength of schedule. There was some doubt whether they'd get a top 16 seed or not. Despite a great record, they snagged that last national seed. Have to beat Stanford twice on Regional Sunday. It's down the line and left and out of the reach of Pone. But big wins in the non-conference. Beat Tennessee, San Diego State beat Florida State twice, and then just flat out dominated the Big Ten in their first year in the league, winning all 8 series, 5 sweeps after the dissolution, at least the temporary dissolution of the Pac. Chases strike 3, and the throw nearly got away at first, but Yamas held the base. Well, Ole Miss swung the pendulum to the Rebels side at the top of the 5th. The Ducks take it back, quacking and shaking all the way here at Oklahoma City.
25 years ago, that and more after this was done. Rebs need a rally. Kevin, Amanda, back to you.
Scott, a rally they need indeed. They need 4 runs here, 3 to tie it, 1 more to take the lead for their first win in program history. Oregon hasn't won at the World Series since their last trip here in 2018. Part of a just fantastic part of the sporting calendar. I get excited here in SVP. We got NBA playoffs coming on. We're in the sports capital of the world right now because the Thunder are 10 minutes down the road. They just won the West Finals. They're waiting to see who they'll play between the Pacers and the Knicks. The finals are going to start right here in Oklahoma City on Thursday. The World Series Champ Series will start here in Oklahoma City next Wednesday. Stanley Cup's coming up. College baseball tournament began today. Major League Baseball starting to heat up. Just great stuff everywhere you look. And a 5-2 lead for Oregon here as Elise Sokolsky throws a strike to Mackenzie Pickens.
Yeah, important for Sokolsky here to go right at these hitters after Oregon scored those 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Going to keep the momentum on their side. A couple of strikes to get her back into the count here against the freshman Pickens. Not easy to come back after what she faced last night, giving up the walk-off home run to UCLA, knowing that she wants the ball again.
Pickens, that's through the box and a leadoff base hit. Masters of the leadoff runner. That's 5 of 6 innings Ole Miss has started with a base runner. Ashton Lasdell has committed a couple of errors tonight. Trying to make up for that with a bat. Former college baseball player. One of a few women who have played collegiate baseball, played for a year at Georgia Highlands College. Got hurt, stepped away from the game. Great piece in Sports Illustrated a couple of days ago by Katie Burkhart-Gooch, who is a wonderful player at Arizona State in her own right. Ashton started working at a car dealership As part of the U.S. Baseball Women's National Team and ended up getting connected by one of the coaches, Val Perez, to FIU, where she joined the softball team and now gets to end her softball career in the World Series at Ole Miss. Hoping it won't end today. She spoils an 0-2.
And she said she actually never wanted to switch away from baseball. She loved it too much. And how about the fact that she has this tattoo on her calf, dream until it's your reality. Love that quote.
The slow ground ball. Sinicki goes to second. Dangerous play made by Paige Sinicki.
Yeah, the easy play definitely would have been just to go to first base with a 3-run lead. But when you're a Gold Glover, you know the pacing of the game and that you can make a play like this. It took her up the middle of the field just a little bit. She's headed to first base, but completely turns her body for a surprise throw to her second baseman, Jones, who's covering second base. A lot of confidence from Sinicki, the Gold Glover.
Hey, what did Taylor tell us earlier in the game? Quote in the Oregon dugout, always on offense. That's being on offense on defense from a player who's already made an error tonight and shook it off to get the lead runner Pickens. Angelina De Leon walked in the fourth. Hard ground ball. That one gets past Sinicki. And here come the Rebs with a tying run coming to the plate.
You got to love to see this rally at the bottom of your order if you're Jamie Traxel. Pickens, the freshman, coming through, and then De Leon, who's reached base a couple of times in this game, really squaring one up through the 5-6 hole. Sinicki was leaning a little bit up the middle of the field. You can see her right here. Look at her take her hop step more up the middle, and that is the difference for why that was a hit for De Leon instead of just an out to Sinicki at short.
Missy Lombardi is going to re-enter a pitcher here. We're not sure which one yet. Grind started, and then Chambers came on to face a lefty. There is Lindsey Grind, who is looking to be both starter and finisher here for the Ducks. Through the first 79 pitches of the game, got the first 14 outs. And with a hug from Elise Sokolsky, she'll try to pick up the last 5.
This is just such a big part of what makes our sport so special as Sokolsky exits this game, is that you have a chance as a pitcher to start a game and come back in. You have to stay on the ready, understanding that it's not like college baseball. It's not like MLB that once you're out, you're out. You have to stay ready. You have to stay engaged. And now you have an opportunity to close the game that you started.
Watch the last play again before the pitching change. Watch the dive from Paige Sinicki. Have been leaning to the left, goes diving to the right. It's a little worse for the wear after.
Definitely feeling something. It's a tough player too. You know that she has to really be feeling something to see that, her act like that on the field.
Over 200 consecutive starts and 192 of those at shortstop. Idolized Derek Jeter growing up, would practice those kinds of plays all the time with her dad. Made a lot of great plays this year. That ground ball was just past the diving Sinicki from De Leon. And the Ole Miss fans have not lost the faith. Tying run with 1 out. Taylor Melvin.
And kind of a cool story with Malvin, the 9-hole hitter here. Didn't play a lot in her first 2 years, but she said, I was raised to put your head down and go to work. And if you want something, you'll work for it. When asked why maybe she didn't transfer after not getting a lot of playing time in her first 2 years. This year, though, has been really successful. She said, I put my head down, I went to work. I could have easily transferred, but it's just so much bigger than softball. It's a mindset to me. Been that way my whole life. Through travel ball, always an underdog. I wasn't an everyday starter in travel ball as well. But she said, my success this year is because of what I went through the past 2 years. Yeah, I didn't get what I wanted for 2 years, but I worked so hard under Tate Whitley, followed her everywhere around to be able to get the playing time here and make it to the World Series.
Here she is, 2 years removed from getting one at-bat on the season. Does not have a home run this year. Well, she represents the tying run. Ole Miss would love her to just keep the line moving with the top of the order lurking. She reached on an error by the first baseman at the time, McCoy, her only at-bat. Still 2-2.
She said this one thing that really stuck with me, but she said, I wanted to be a leader on and off the field. And if that had to be an off the field leader the last couple of years, then that's what it was. But she was determined to be a leader even when she wasn't getting the playing time that she wanted.
Ready for his sixth pitch with one out in the sixth. She is battling against Lindsey Grine. Just 8 for 35 runners in scoring position on the year. She struggled somewhat down the stretch, was the leadoff hitter much of the year, but has put together some good at-bats here at the World Series, including a hit against Nyjah Kennedy yesterday. Grine's seventh pitch to Malvin. 5-2 Oregon lead. A chopper out of play.
Just fouling off pitches, looking for a mistake, doing whatever she can to make Lindsey Grine work in this at bat, wear her down a little bit, knowing the leadoff hitter of Pone's on deck.
Where do you think the finishing spot could be for Grine?
I try to go up and in with the rise ball in her hands, with the way she's leaning out, trying to slap these outside pitches.
Goes down and away again, gets the strikeout, swinging, 2 down.
You know when Lindsey Grine is popping her hand to her glove that she is just in a groove. A fierce competitor. Missy Lombardi says she bows up and loves to compete. She sticks to the outside corner, works it about a ball off the plate, makes Malvin reach, but she can't reach far enough for that pitch. That is pitching. Look at Grine, fired up to get that out.
2 down, 2 on. Now Jaden Pone in the air to left field. Foul ground. Kylu Shar's got it. Grine re-enters the game and escapes a 6th inning jam. Swept in the Champs Series last year, and they haven't beaten Oklahoma in the state in 11 years. So how do they do it?
Got to use their offense and score some runs early. Like the times that we saw in that series that they got swept, that they showed some fight. They're already down by so much that it was hard for them to get back into the game. So if you're Texas, you want to come out, make a statement early against Oklahoma and show them that you're a different team.
And the loser of that game will play the winner of this one Sunday. Oregon leading 5-2. Safe to expect Sam Landry, Tegan Cavan, the pitching matchup?
I would be floored if the lineups came out and that was not the pitching matchup. Ace versus ace. Playing to try to get that 2-0 record at the World Series, which puts you in the big-time driver's seat here.
Cavan with a shutout of Florida. 2nd straight year in both of her years in her college career. Tegan Cavan has thrown a shutout on day 1 at the World Series. Last year did it to Stanford. This year does it to the Gators. Florida's out after losing in run rule fashion to Tennessee earlier today. Going to be from 8 down to 6 after today. We'll get down to 4 after Sunday's games. And then the final 2 after Monday, with the Champ Series beginning Wednesday night.
Ball.
Stephanie Maake, then the Luchar sisters, Kai and Kedri, 9-1-2 for the Ducks. Ole Miss is going to have Boutte, Binford, and Yamas, so big bats in the 7th. And the home 6th begins with a strikeout. Go figure, huh? Aaliyah Binford, 1 strikeout in 24 batters yesterday, 3 strikeouts in 5 batters today.
Going to her changeup again, fell off the table. Maake just can't hold back, got her swing going, thinking it was something a little bit more firm. That's a changeup that can give hitters fits. Binford likes to chase, or likes to throw to get hitters to chase.
Ball.
What a great career for Aaliyah Binford. 127th game pitching. She's played 249 overall. 31 career homers, 51 career wins. Through Ole Miss' first solo no-hitter in 11 years this season. Had been a 2-time All Big 12 player at Baylor. Just a big game player. This one slapped to Yamas. Gotta hurry. Not in time. Infield single for Kai Luchar, her 2nd hit.
The speed game has just been on for both Kai Luchar and also Kedri Luchar. All throughout this order, just speed on speed. Luchar, the great hustle down the line, is barely beating the foot of Pickens.
The ruling on the field was the runner was safe at first base. This is an Ole Miss challenge. Previous play is under further review.
That challenge may be concluded pretty much by the time Marty Avzishin stops speaking. Worth a shot in the 6th inning, but that call will be upheld.
Just a foot race with both your first baseman and your second baseman when you have a speed like Luchar getting down the line. Even pulled that toward the right side of the field and still beat it out. And that ball is right in front of her, but her great hustle down the line.
After review, the ruling at first base is upheld. The runner is safe as Ole Miss's first challenge of the game.
Kai Luchar, the 2nd most infield hits in the nation, at 60 coming into the game. Infield hit here in the 6th. Remember, had that double that hit off the glove of Lansdowne, ended up in left field an inning ago. Let's see how long she hangs around. Kedri Luchar, little blooper to right. Kai's ready to go to 3rd. She read it well. And the Luchars are at the corners. A little Luchar looper from Kedri, her 2nd hit in 2 innings.
Yeah, and they've been playing this shift on Kedri Luchar this entire game. Look at where Lair Boutte is playing, the right fielder. She's playing basically in right center field. Opens up a huge area in right field for that ball to fall. Kedri is out in front of that changeup, hits it off the end of the bat, and finds that big hole in right field to keep this rally going for Oregon. Remember, Missy Lombardi talked about with this offense, start fast, stay fast, finish fast, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Score in the 1st, score in the 5th, trying to score here in the 6th to extend this lead.
So you got Kai Luchar at 3rd, 59 steals. Kedri at first, 29 in 29 tries. Probably a matter of time before Oregon pushes the envelope.
Ball.
Kedri just dancing off first so far. 1-1 for McCoy.
Pickens with the shift, the second baseman is playing on the shortstop side of second base, so she'll clearly be the one to cover on a steal, and she's just a couple of steps away from the bag there. Going to put herself in a prime position to catch if the throw goes all the way through, but you have speed at third.
Ball.
RBI double in the 5th for the second team All-American McCoy. Big hit here could really feel like a dagger.
Ball.
Missy Lombardi has come out after ball 3 to talk to Aaron Peterson. And whatever happened there, it's still 3-1. Riley McCoy, the former bat buster, travel ball, has a chance to bust this game wide open.
Look at McCoy with how she adjusts her feet here. So she starts open and then replants her back foot and squares up her stance to the plate. But you can see it really well here. It's that right foot, replants it back and gets a little bit straighter after starting pretty far open. We'll see if she does that again, trying to protect that outside corner.
Ball.
It's well off the outside corner for ball 4. It loads the bases. Certainly looked a little unusual.
Trying to make adjustments in the box. Remember, in her last at bat, she had sat back on a changeup and a hitter's count, had hit it well.
So Paige Sinicki can pretty much slam this game out of reach. 3 productive plate appearances today, a single, a double, and a sacrifice. 2 bunts in there. Swinging away, takes it outside corner strike.
Knows she wants to swing away. She's been asked to bunt a couple of times, but as a cleanup hitter, base is loaded, you want to come away with a big swing.
Ground ball to short. Play at the plate. Luchard's out. Well done by De Leon. Ole Miss gets the lead runner. Cuts down the run on out number 2. Remember, Binford got out of a bases loaded 1-out jam yesterday against Texas Tech in the 4th inning. Did give up a run, but limited the damage on a double play. Now Patman, who was the first batter she faced, she struck her out with a runner at third, 1 out in the 5th. Binford is going to bat in the top half of the 7th. And Ole Miss will have a fighting chance if she can get Patman. Ole Miss team that played in elimination games in Tucson, beat 13-seeded Arizona. In Fayetteville, beat 4th-seeded Arkansas. Swing and a miss by Patman. Either it'll be a hammer blow or a burst of energy for Ole Miss, and it's going to be the latter. Binford, cool as can be, will bat in between Boutte and Yamas. Big hitters with Ole Miss's season on the line.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Capital One rewarding performance. And it was Lindsey Grine, Amanda, who started this game and got the job done with a 6th inning re-entry.
Yeah, and she's been able to work out of jams. As you mentioned, she got the start, came back in relief, getting to close her own game, trying to shut out Ole Miss here. She has brought the energy, and just looking at my scorebook, she's done such a great job of just not letting Ole Miss get a ton of momentum. If she gives up a single, then she gets an out the next pitch, just going at these hitters and bringing the fire and the energy that Lindsey Grine really only does in the circle in the way that she can.
Ole Miss tonight 4 for 17 with runners on base, 2 for 10 runners in scoring position, and all 5 hits are singles. And Lair Boutte, what could be her final collegiate at bat, smacks a first pitch single into center field.
Lair Boutte has World Series experience a few years ago with Tennessee. She was just so pumped to be here, and before they won that Super Regional, she was going around telling everybody, all of her teammates, you guys are going to love it. You're going to be so happy. There's so much excitement, telling them all about it. And so it's a big deal to see her step up, get a hit here in the 7th inning, especially as a senior, trying to be a leader and a leadoff hitter for this team.
And she'll come out for a pinch runner, a 189th career game. She's hoping that won't be the end of it. A base hit before Tenley Grisham takes over at first. Here's Aaliyah Binford. Another potential final college at-bat.
Swing.
They asked Aaliyah Binford, why'd you want to come to Ole Miss? She said, the girls. As soon as I met them, I felt like I could be myself completely. Smacks this ball the other way. Batter out by Patman. It's over her head. Binford's up to second. And wouldn't you know it, Percy Yamas is going to come up as the tying run.
Ole Miss is on this speed right now, out of the hand of Grine. This is a pitch that just stayed flat on the outside corner. And with how hard Aaliyah Binford swings with the speed that's provided by Grine, that line drive just carried the opposite way, working in a deep window with that outside pitch. Look at Binford yelling back to her teammates, now is the time. 2 runners on, down by 3. What a huge hit for the senior. 2 seniors stepping up in this inning, trying to get a rally going for Finley Traxel and the crowd and the rest of their team.
Aaliyah Binford's first hit of the World Series. Percy Yamas, who has 2 run-scoring singles, is coming up. And remember, it's all on Lindsey Grine's shoulders now. They've already used Stacy Chambers, Oregon. They've already used Elise Sokolsky. The other pitcher is Taylor Spencer, who's got a .417 ERA and has only pitched once in the tournament. So it is really on the broad shoulders of Grine right now, who has to try to get out Percy Yamas,
who has been so good at using all parts of the field. Her first hit off of Grine went to the left side of the field, a rise ball up in the zone she connected with, and then off of Stacy Chambers, able to turn on an inside curveball the other way. Yamas is a hitter that can hit to all field. She has done it in any moment, in any situation. She is so calm at the plate. She is truly built for this moment. But with first base open, I'm sure Missy Lombardi is talking to Lindsey Grine about how to attack her if they are going to likely get a pitch around her and put her at first.
Would you put her at first, though, even to put the tying run on base?
With the way that she's seeing the ball, I wouldn't say I'm going to stand up and go ahead and intentionally pitch around her in the way that an intentional walk would be. I would just pitch her very carefully, a little bit off the plate, to see if you can get the freshman to get herself out.
Ball.
That's in the dirt for ball one.
Ball.
Outside, ball two.
Ball.
Outside, ball three. They don't want anything to do with her.
Yeah, you can see how carefully they're pitching her, just pitching around her with first base open.
Ball.
Ball four. Oregon has just walked Percy Yamas to bring up the program's all-time single-season home run leader as the potential game-winning and, for the moment, go-ahead run. And before Lexi Brady steps in, Aaron Earlywine goes down to Aaron Peterson. Making sure all the bases are covered here. They're not going to take out Yamas at first because they've already pinch runner. They are going to do that. So there is a pinch runner at first for Brady, who grounds the first ball to third. Flannery did not get the out. Oh, no, she did. She did get the out because the base runner, Binford, was out of the baseline. So it wasn't on the tag. Jim Bertuzzi rules Binford out of the baseline. Jamie Traxel's going to walk over and talk about it. It is the first out here in the 7th inning. You could see the waving motion at the end from Jim Bertuzzi that Binford was out of the baseline right there. And I'm not sure Flannery tagged her, so that's where the out is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's why that call comes into play, because it did look like the tag missed her.
So a run scored, but that's fine for Oregon as long as the other two runs don't. We have 5 unassisted out. Brady is now the tying run at first. And Ryan Starr, who is the pinch runner for Yamas, is over at second. It's getting cleaned up here for Missy Lombardi as well. Appropriately, we're hearing Def Leppard's Bring It On the Heartbreak, because that's coming soon, sooner than one of these teams wants. Ole Miss already with 3 comeback wins in the tournament. Oregon undefeated leading after 6 this season. And this is something the Ducks haven't faced this year. The graphic we showed you all at the top. Oregon, after a loss this year, was outscoring opponents 72-2 in 8 games. Ole Miss has gotten to 3, but they need to get at least to 5 in this inning. It's the freshman Mackenzie Pickens with 2 on and 1 out. Swings at the first pitch. high and not deep enough to left. The runners will both tag and get into scoring position on a heart-in-your-throat kind of fly ball. Oregon is an out away. Ole Miss has the tying runs in scoring position. Well, this was last night for Oregon. They tied the game in the 7th inning before Jessica Clemens, with 2 outs in the bottom of the inning, took Elise Sokolsky deep. A walk-off home run for UCLA. And Oregon had its heart smashed into bits with a Bruin party at the plate. So here they are in the 7th inning again. Here they are in gut check time. And here they are 1 out away from staying alive in Oklahoma City. Jamie McKay is going to pinch hit here in what was the spot of Ashton Lansdale. And Ole Miss sends another pinch runner into the game. Addison Duke becomes the tying run at second. Ashton Lansdale, we mentioned, is a former U.S. national team baseball player, where she played with Jamie McKay, who is now her college teammate. She's trying to pick up Ashton and the rest of the Rebels and keep the season alive. 2 on, 2 out.
Ball.
First pitch is wide. If you're McKay, you've been watching for 6 2/3. Where do you look?
Trying to get on time with her speed, just avoid the changeup, try to be on time with 68, 69, more up in the zone.
That ball's ripped to left field. It's a base hit. Here comes Duke to the plate. She's in there. Jamie McKay, her first at-bat at the World Series, is a 2-out, 2-run pinch hit single. Ole Miss has tied it.
This is the approach exactly that Jamie McKay wanted to have. Something up in the zone. She's on time for 68, and she stays above the rise ball. She is expecting it. It turns into more of a line drive. She's just slightly out in front of it, trying to be early with that 68, 69 miles an hour speed that she knew Grind was going to provide. 2 RBIs for the pinch hitter in the World Series to tie the game up in the 7th inning. That gives you goosebumps.
That's 4 2-out RBIs for Ole Miss. Jamie McKay, who's now 3 for her last 4 as a pinch hitter, delivers the biggest hit of the Rebels season. Angelina De Leon pops it up to second. Oregon did something. They did something you should never do, Amanda. They let the Rebs get hot.
With Jamie McKay coming off the bench, the first strike, the first swing she has in the World Series turns into a 2 RBI hit to tie up this game in the 7th. We have ourselves a tie game at the bottom of the 7th.
6 games at the World Series. Jamie McKay, who was a starting catcher on this team a couple of years ago, a starting outfielder last year with a 2-out, 2-run game-tying single. Boutte, the senior, had a hit. Binford, the senior, had a hit. Yamas walked. And Ole Miss 3-run rally in the 7th sends this game to the bottom of the inning. The Rebels, the only unseeded team in Oklahoma City, are still alive. And they've got Aaliyah Binford on the mound, getting a first pitch ground out right back to her from Kaylin Jones. That bottom of the 6th inning for Binford. Loaded the bases with 1 out against the cleanup hitter Sinicki and the 5-hitter Patman. Got a ground out, the fielder's choice to the plate, got a strikeout swinging. They could have lost the game right then and there, but she got out of it. Now Emma Cox, the freshman, has walked twice. .1-0 pitch. It's confirming that because Percy Yamas was pitch run forward twice, she is now out of the game. Ole Miss with 4 defensive changes. That includes Jamie McKay now in at first. Ryan Starr is at short. De Leon moves over to third. Tenley Grisham's in right. So Ole Miss will have to come back without Percy Yamas, who had the first 2 RBI singles. But that's a trade they're willing to make for the ability to come back at all.
They used their deep roster and cleared their bench for some pinch runners, some pinch hitters, knowing that they might have to sacrifice on defense with their starters out of the game now, or shuffled around at least.
They've used 7 position players off the bench. One of them was Addison Duke, who scored the tying run as a pinch runner, and obviously McKay, who had the pinch hit to tie it. That lineup card is going to look like a Jackson Pollock painting. But it's a lineup card they could still use, so they don't care. Cox, check swing. Binford again. Another strike from the circle, 2 down.
She'll take those quick 2 outs right there. Hit right back at her, soft contact off the end of the bat for a couple of quick outs after tying up this game.
Rally visors, rally caps for the Duck fans. The rarely seen SEC Big Ten after dark. Katie Flannery. Another evening where we are either approaching or into the witching hour here in Oklahoma. Last night, Jessica Clemens crossed home plate at 12:07 a.m. Means technically she did so this morning. We're still 28 minutes from the stroke of midnight, and a game that is approaching 3 hours. Two and one to Flannery.
And in the couple of years that I wasn't playing here in the World Series, I remember staying up late, watching these Women's College World Series games deep into the night, trying to keep my eyes open, being locked into these exact games.
I don't think you're alone. There are a lot of kids right now who have probably been begging mom and or dad, just one more inning, just one more batter. And we say, keep it going. Right field, that ball's blasted down in front of Grisham. Bounced up and hit her on the ricochet. And there's Katie Flannery, the sophomore. Her first hit of the World Series, and the winning run's aboard.
Not a great read by Grisham, who's new out in right field. This is a ball that should be caught, but she just didn't take a good route to it. Ends up having to lay out for it. Definitely had potential to catch that one in the air if she had a good read off the bat, but she just didn't.
So a big power hitter here. Stephanie Mahake can walk it off for Oregon. Takes down and away from Binford. Some of her swings are absolutely legendary. It's had a tough tournament. But this is a young woman who hit a 300-foot homer at the Mary Nutter. And a ground ball to the right side here will send this game to the 8th. Mom and Dad, let them stay up one more inning. At least one more inning. Aaliyah Binford, relief ace. Doubled to Ole Miss, which was down to its final out of the season. Lost another Rebel rally, which they've been known for in this postseason. Since 2000, teams entering the final inning, trailing by 3, are a cool 2 and $1.63. Oregon undefeated after a loss this year, undefeated leading after 6. And Ole Miss is threatening to throw all of these statistics in the shredder. We're on to the 8th in a 5-5 game, and what a dandy it's been. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough here in the booth, Taylor McGregor on the field, our outstanding ESPN crew. Another late night in Oklahoma City, and it's all in the hands of Lindsey Grine, who threw the first 4 2/3 and then re-entered with 1 out in the 6th. And Ole Miss has taken a lot of good at-bats against her. 0-2 for Malvin.
They have, and Sokolsky can't come back into this game, and honestly, she just has struggled a little bit. So if Oregon does indeed move on, gonna have to take that into consideration. Puts a lot of pressure on Green. They've used Stacey Chambers and had to bring Lindsey Grine back into this game, and she has thrown the bulk of the load here at OKC.
Chop to the left side. Flannery hoses down Malvin. That's only the 2nd time today Ole Miss has not had the leadoff runner on base. The 2nd and the 8th innings. That's a heck of a first out, because Jaden Pone has been a thorny leadoff hitter to deal with. Reached on an error, bunt single, hit by pitch.
Ball, it's out.
The 2nd Ole Miss player ever to be named first team All-SEC. Kylan Becker did it twice. And Pone has bounced back nicely from a tough tournament this evening.
The tops of these lineups for both teams have really stepped up. Pone is a leadoff hitter. Kylu Shar is leadoff hitter. On the other side, the majority of the runs scored have been scored with the 1 through 5 hitters on both sides. Finding different ways to get on. A lot of seniors that are at the top of the orders. Talked about the seniors at the beginning of the game, an elimination game, how important they would be, how important they've been to these programs to get them here to the Women's College World Series.
There's Jade's boyfriend with the long blue wig. Hands on knees. Jaden drops down a bunt foul. There he is. There's Keyshawn. The leader of the blue rally wig craze and the shark fin. That's become a big part of Ole Miss athletics these days. Strike 3. Pone is frozen. Lindsey Grine has retired the first 2 in the 8th.
Just paints the outside corner against Pone, who has just continued to find ways to get on. Look at Emma Cox frame up that pitch. It freezes Pone. I think she gets about a ball off the plate, but it's Emma Cox who has defensively been so great for Oregon with her arm, with the way that she receives. I'm super impressed by the freshman back behind the plate for the Ducks and Emma Cox. She's going to be a fun one to watch for the next 3 years.
Great sporting family. Parents played softball and baseball. Brothers play baseball. She's taken a couple of foul balls today. One off the face mask, one off the body. Boutte re-enters with 2 down. Line drive into center field. A 2-out base hit. Lair Boutte has batted in the 7th and 8th. She has 2 first pitch singles. And Ole Miss has the go-ahead run on.
And her bats have just progressively gotten better as this game has gone on. She struck out her first at bat, blew an opportunity for a sacrifice bunt, hit into a double play in her second. And then after she put down that sacrifice bunt in the 5th, she's just been hot.
And here's Aaliyah Binford. doubled in the 7th.
Swing.
Yet yesterday, Amanda, Aaliyah Binford was asked about overcoming odds, said, we're going to do the same thing we've done all season. We've won the same amount of games as any team has here. I don't know why that's something that continues to be said. Kid who's taken the disrespect personally, but she grounds out here. Top of the Duck lineup, Luchar and Luchar with 1 to win.
It's just a game.
The hug from Ashton Lansdell to Jamie McKay, 2 former U.S. national baseball team teammates. McKay pinch hit for Lansdell, kept the Ole Miss season alive with a 2-out, 2-run pinch hit single in the 7th. Ole Miss trying to win for the first time ever at the World Series. Oregon for the first time in 7 years. And what's also at stake is the whole darn season. The winner gets a day of rest, a day to enjoy Bricktown, and a date with the loser of Texas, Oklahoma Sunday. The losing team has a heck of a long trip home. It's the top of the Oregon lineup. A couple of All-Americans behind the best base stealer in the country, Kyle Luchar, who takes a strike from Aaliyah Binford.
Talked about some defensive movement for Ole Miss, shuffling out their defense because of some substitutions late in the game and a couple of changes on the left side that you said last inning. But De Leon moving from short to third, and then Starr now going to be tested at shortstop with this speed.
Reached on an error, grounded out to short, double off the third baseman's glove, infield single to first, and now a 1-1 count. Ute re-entered. She's back in right. Aaliyah Binford, just an amazing, amazing week in the circle. 2 2/3 scoreless in relief after 6 innings and an unearned run yesterday. Luchar just sprints through the bag on what was a foul ball. It's 1-2. Ducks have 4 walk-off wins on the year, 2 of them in the tournament. You know about those if you've been following Oregon. Both walk-off hits from Des Patman to end this regional against Stanford, and then game 1 of Supers against Liberty. Patman's down in the 5 spot in the order here. Luchar, McCoy. 2-2 from Binford. Boy, this young woman in the circle, this is some competitor. The way she ended the Arkansas Super Regional, retired 16 of the final 17, 14 straight at one point. Strikes out Luchar. That ball was not in the dirt. Caught cleanly by Brady. And it's a strikeout, the 5th in relief for Binford.
Goes back to her changeup again and gets Luchar to chase this pitch. This is a huge deal to keep her speed off of the base pass, and you just get to strike her on your own. Your defense doesn't even have to mess with her speed to put pressure on the defense to make a play. You're right, Kevin. I mean, the way that Binford has stepped up in the postseason in the NCAA tournament for Ole Miss has been so special to watch, even with the bat in her hands.
Kedri Luchar to left. That will get out of play.
But in the circle, she has just looked in command. And when we got a chance to talk to her on Wednesday, of the things that she told us stuck out to me. One is that I know who I am as a pitcher. She believes in her strengths. She knows her strengths. She pitches to her strengths. And then also, this quote stuck out to me. I am somebody who is going to get it done. She bets on herself and she believes in herself.
Oh, 1 to the All-American. Kedri Luchar, who takes low. 2 hits for Kedri today. Fabulous tournament. Fabulous season. Got great extra base power. She's late on strike 2 here. Did not have a home run her first 3 years. She's got 7 this season. One and two on a grounder. And Binford just shakes it off with a smile. Fourth extra inning game for the Ducks this year, 2-1. Ole Miss 1-6 in extras. You have one All-American at the plate and one just off the on-deck circle. Riley McCoy lying in the weeds. And Kendry Lushar, like her sister, strikes out on a low changeup. Back-to-back Ks for Binford, who has one more hurdle to clear before a potential 9th inning. And we'll see how careful she is, because Ole Miss has been very careful with McCoy today, walking her twice with a double sandwiched in between. Hard and low for ball 1. How would you pitch Riley McCoy here?
I'd go to my changeup early and often and stay down in the zone, just like she did with her drop ball, and just cannot elevate that pitch. Knees in below, trying to get her to ground out. Great looking pitch there for a strike on the outside corner. Remember, she did that change in her stance as the pitch was coming in her last AB. Haven't seen her do that in the first couple of pitches in this one, where she replanted her right foot.
Two balls and a strike for McCoy.
A couple of close pitches, and she's had a good eye, not chasing some pitches that Aaliyah would love for her to chase.
Well, Binford gave her anything on 3-1. She didn't, and McCoy swings anyway. That would have been well low. How will that alter the calculus for Aaliyah Binford?
Back to that outside corner. She's painted it a couple of times, one for a strike, one just a little bit off of the corner, and she couldn't get her to chase it.
Outside corner, she chased it. She got her a little too antsy. Middle of the Rebels order coming up. We are on to the 9th.
The red Oklahoma dirt is gritty, iconic, perfection. The Women's College World Series, the greatest show on dirt.
The greatest show on dirt goes into the 9th inning on Friday night. Tennessee run-ruled Florida earlier today. They get the winner of, the loser of Texas Tech UCLA, beg your pardon. Winner of that game Monday. Winner of Oklahoma Texas Monday. Loser of that game gets the winner of this game on Sunday. It's Ole Miss and Oregon. And if the bracket can seem a little complicated with the bounce back and forth at times, concern yourself with this. Winner of this game is alive, and the loser is on to 2026. Middle of the Ole Miss order, it's Ryan Starr. Finds herself in the cleanup spot because she was the second player to pinch run for Percy Yamas, and a starter can only be substituted out once. The ability to re-enter. So here's Starr, whose last hit was February the 8th. The new cleanup hitter against Lindsey Grind. And she takes a strike. The last time Ryan Starr grabbed a bat, went up to the plate, was April 17th, when she was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded against Georgia. 1-2. Transfer from vaunted softball powerhouse Syracuse University. You know, Amanda, you know all about that classic Syracuse to Oxford pipeline.
It's strong and alive.
Oh, yeah. Lexi Brady's on deck, then Mackenzie Pickens. Popped up by Starr, caught by Cox. Take me into the mindset of Lindsey Grind, of the Oregon players right now. You've blown a lead. You're trying to just hang in there. What are they thinking?
That you have the last say and that you have the last at bat. Play clean defense, put up a 0, and have the last word as a home team. Try to walk off this game.
Yep. Let's see Brady.
Pitch and the swing, pitch and the swing.
Take your pick.
You know, and it's a longer game too. I mean, we've been at this for 3.5 hours now, and as a player, I really think you just lose all sense of time. Like, you have no idea how long the game has actually been.
Well, we're only 3:20 now. We're not quite at 3.5 yet.
Just rounding up.
But it has been an unusually long game. 3.5 hours is never usual, but particularly in the pitch clock era, we've seen game times be slashed the last couple of years. Ole Miss yesterday played a 1-0 game that was over in 1:51. So, yeah, we're working on now 3:21 tonight. And pretty soon, tonight will become tomorrow. Oh-2 for the big hitter Brady. Ground ball snared by Grind. The extendo arm. Raises her arms in celebration of herself, and deservedly so.
Gets on her in a hurry. I don't know if Jones would have been there to be able to grab it. She likely would have got there with her speed over at second base, Jones, but if Grind can shorten that hit and the throw, then she'll take it.
Star in the circle, Lindsey Grind. Out of the state of Illinois, 2 years at Virginia Tech. Softball America's Most Improved Player of the Year. Got to be careful here. Mackenzie Pickens sent one to the warning track in the 7th. Pickens had the game-winning 3-run homer against Florida in an SEC tournament upset. And Ole Miss is trying to outlast Florida at the World Series after the Gators were eliminated earlier today. Who could have thought a couple of weeks ago in Athens that Ole Miss would have any shot of doing that? They could have thought it. That's who. Green light, any chance?
Full take.
Hang on.
Something's going on with Cox's eye. She reacted immediately. Maybe some dirt coming off the ball. Ooh.
Wow. Right into her eyes. So many pieces of it, too.
Wait a minute.
It went from her cleat, and the ball hit it off of her cleat.
Are you kidding me?
At first, I thought it was off of the ball, and I was thinking she would have felt that, but that dirt came off of her cleat and then exploded in the middle of the pitch.
That's ridiculous.
What are the odds of that happening?
It's not quite Randy Johnson hitting a bird, but it might be even more impressive. Great job by Eric. camera operators to get that shot.
Wow.
That's some beautiful mo work right there. 3 and 2. I can 100% confidently say I've never seen that in my life.
Never. Wild things happening in these night games, Kevin.
3 and 2. Right back to grind. How about that? She gets out of it with the dirt ball. And she goes flying into her teammates, waiting arms. What is left in Oklahoma City? We're about to find out.
Aaliyah Binford has just continued to pitch to her strengths, which is down in the zone, oftentimes away from these hitters. But she just hasn't elevated much and left much over the heart of the plate with her changeup that she can vary as a different type of off-speed pitch that has just been diving down. She has been in a zone at the bottom of the zone and has led to a lot of strikeouts, a lot of ground ball outs, and it's been difficult to elevate her based off of how she's been down in the zone.
6 strikeouts in relief after she had 1 strikeout in a 6-inning complete game yesterday. Effective in a completely different way. She was a ground ball machine against Texas Tech. Did not give up an earned run, but lost 1-0. Brianna Lopez started this game. And remember the interesting move that Jamie Traxel made. She brought in Miley Wachenio. Wachenio got it out on a sac bunt, threw 1 pitch to Des Patman, and Jamie Traxel said, it's time for Binford. Took her out in a 1-0 count after 6 pitches. And here's Binford, who's now thrown 72 pitches after 82 yesterday. Trying to send this game to the 10th. The Ducks cleanup hitter, Paige Sinicki, trying to stop her. 1-1 to Paige.
They just haven't been able to pick up her changeup at all. I feel like when Binford has thrown that early in the count, they've been out in front of it. When she's thrown it with 2 strikes, they've been out in front of it. Her changeup has just been difficult for them to pick up.
Sinicki didn't even seem like she was interested in swing.
Yeah, that was one right down the heart of the plate, too, to get that 2nd strike and work ahead to a hitter's count. See if she throws this one a little bit lower in the dirt.
Sinicki into left field. There's an elevated changeup. It's another out. Well, here's Oregon's missed walk-off. Eugene Regional, 7-7 game. Game 7. Goodbye. 3-run home run to send the Ducks to the Super Regional. And in the next game, her line drive single beat Liberty in 8. The last extra inning Duck affair. So, of course, she's not going to bat. It'll be Bracy Rosa instead. Oh, that's some after midnight nonsense right there. Having a 2-run single today and 3 strikeouts since. And Bracy Rosa thinking, hey, maybe you could start a Bracy Rosa walk-off package after this one. She's got 6 home runs out of her 20 hits, 519 slugging, 394 on base. Pretty good season in a year where she has started 30 games. The solemnity of the Duck fan. The stands are angry this morning, my friends. Rosa 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter on the year. Only hit against Jamie Traxel's old team, Minnesota, April 13th. Trying to do so on May 31st. We have once again crossed the threshold into the post-midnight era at the World Series. It's now Saturday here in Oklahoma City. It's still Sunday night in Eugene. It's Saturday morning in Oxford, Mississippi. Swing and a miss. Down goes Rosa.
It's like Binford's throwing two different types of changeups. One change will just stay through the zone and float through like a changeup, and then another one serves as kind of like an off-speed drop ball where she gets on top of it and it just falls off the table. The off-speed drop ball, that pitch has been the one that Oregon has been so far out in front of. They are just not picking it up at all out of her hand.
She struck out 3 of the last 5. What is it that they're not seeing? How are they having such a hard time with this?
I think it's both of her drop and that off-speed drop are over the top spin, and it's just very difficult to pick up what speed that is coming out of her hand. Getting caught in between, thinking that the changeup is 67 that she's throwing there, thinking that the drop ball is at times 58. I mean, they just cannot get on time with anything that she's throwing right now.
Caitlin Jones has a base hit.
It's that one that will just stay up out of her hand, and then she'll be able to expand the zone down with that off-speed drop ball.
Jones just a single home run on the year. Drove in the Ducks' last run in the 5th. And pops this one into the crowd. Where it is misplayed by a gentleman in a Nike shirt. Good effort, though. Got to go for it. Kind of looks like a young Robbie Hummel. Robbie, though, much better hands. Crazy, crazy night in Oklahoma City. Ole Miss led 1-0 after a half inning. Oregon got 2. Ole Miss tied it in the 5th. Ducks immediately got 3. And then Ole Miss scored 3 in the 7th to tie it. And here we are in the bottom of the 9th. 2-2 for Jones. Ball is low.
And you know, too, when you're going up against Aaliyah, that it's going to be all down. That she doesn't really throw a rise ball, doesn't throw a fastball up out of the zone to change her eye level. She is all down, 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 down.
Oh, foul ball off of Lexi Brady. A shoulder shot. Caitlin Jones is at the best at-bats against Binford. She'll see an 8th pitch. And she'll pop it up. And we'll go to the 10th. Extra inning number 3 on the way in OKC. A familiar matchup of pitcher versus team, not team versus team. Nyjah Kennedy, 4 starts at Stanford against UCLA, dominated the Bruins, but didn't get any run support. Went 1-2 despite 4 earned runs in those 4 starts. Gave up a home run to Megan Grant. A couple of All-Americans will go head-to-head Saturday night, later tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Yeah, I love the familiarity in that matchup. And how about Texas Tech's offense has just found different ways to score for Nyjah. A lot of unearned runs that they've put on the board for her as she just continues to be consistent, dominant, and loves to pitch on this stage.
Here's Jamie McKay, who's one of the big reasons we're here. Tied the game with a 2-out 2 RBI pinch hit single in the 7th off of Lindsey Grine. 126 pitches by Lindsey Grine, who threw 96 in day 1 of the World Series. So we've given Aaliyah Binford her flowers, and rightfully so, and Lindsey Grine certainly deserves hers as well. In a span of a little more than 24 hours, Lindsey Grine has thrown 223 pitches. She's just been awesome. Giving up some runs, but remember, Oregon made 3 errors earlier, so Lindsey Grind's pitch count climbed a little bit too high earlier because of some uncharacteristic mistakes from the nation's third best defense by fielding percentage. Bottom three in the Ole Miss lineup here, and she strikes out McKay to kick off the 10th.
I haven't seen a ton of off speed from Lindsey Grind, and her changeup is just about 8 or 9 miles an hour slower than her harder stuff, but that's it right there. Great pitch, moves down and away from McKay. Ole Miss has been seeing her a lot, obviously, in this game. Maybe start seeing that changeup a little bit more to give them a different look, as they've been on time a lot with their hard stuff.
Since the McKay tying single, Grind has retired 8 out of 9. And she's thrown 6 first pitch strikes in that span. She's only gone to 1 3-ball count in the last 3 innings. Seems to be growing stronger as the game goes on. A career high now 8 2/3 as she's ahead of De Leon 0-2.
Hey, we just have 2 competitive pitchers going at it in this game who just are not giving in to these long innings, and these hitters having a lot of looks off of them. Continuing to mix.
Swing.
There's a swing by De Leon. There's another strikeout. Lindsey Grind 132 pitches and still feeling it.
Going to her off-speed pitch again. So back-to-back strikeouts on an off-speed pitch. That one in the dirt. De Leon way out in front. And you have 2 phenomenal pitch callers, with Missy Lombardi calling pitches for Lindsey Grind for Oregon, and then Nancy Evans calling pitches right now for Aaliyah Binford for Ole Miss. Look at her continue to go to this off-speed pitch over and over again late in this game.
It's like she's turned into a new pitcher, 100+ pitches deep.
I like the confidence that she's throwing that pitch with. Pitch she only throws 7% of the time.
Missy Lombardi keeps going back there as she buries a harder drop ball 1-1. They're ready to party in the SIP eventually. Wait all night if they have to. No, it's been a tough day in Oxford and Eugene. Both baseball teams, which were regional hosts, were upset in their respective regionals. Ole Miss, the 10 seed, lost to Murray State. Oregon, the 12 seed, lost very controversially to Utah Valley. There was a play at the plate in that game where Oregon scored. Their runner Anson Arose was ruled out after about a 10-minute review for malicious contact against the catcher. Led to an ejection from the game. So Oregon baseball and Ole Miss baseball suffered some heartbreakers, and one of these softball teams is going to suffer the ultimate heartbreaker. One will have the thrill of victory. 3-2. Malvin. Ground ball to short. Too tall for Sinicki. Taylor Malvin has her first hit of the night.
Such a good job of using the ground against a rise ball pitcher. You know you're going to get something up, get in the top half, and just driving it to the ground. Sinicki, a smaller statured shortstop. She's just about 5'3", so she jumps and reaches as far as she can, but it's just out of her reach. And the 9-hole Malvin, it's on board.
Jaden Pone's going to bat for a 6th time. Ole Miss 6 for 22 with runners on base today. They're 3 for 13 runners in scoring position. Oregon's been a little better, 5 for 12. Ducks have made 3 errors, Rebels 2. Each team has left 10 runners on base. Pone to the left side, of base hits. She has reached safely for a 3rd time. Malvin up to second. Back-to-back 2-out hits in the 10th. And another moment for Lair Boutte. First of all, Jim Bertuzzi and Marty Abzishin are getting together.
The ruling on the field was the runner at first base left on time. Oregon is challenging that call. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, that'll fill out the softball bingo card. A challenge for a runner leaving early. It was Malvin at first.
Nope. Left right on time. It'll be a quick one. Been seeing a lot of these as just a ball out of the hand. She's clearly still on the bag, but been seeing a lot of these. I'm calling it a Hail Mary play to just see if maybe you can catch her off guard and use this runner leaving early with the video replay review.
Any of this, do you think, to
after review, the ruling is upheld. The runner left on time. That is Oregon's second and final challenge of the ball game.
Try to just slow grind down, maybe just slow the heartbeat for your pitcher after a couple of hits.
Yeah, it could be just to try to slow the momentum and just see if it works. Been seeing Oregon kind of cheating defensively. So take a look at third base. Flannery and Sinicki hopping opposite ways. Flannery protecting the line. Sinicki hopping and moving up the middle of the field. Just create an even bigger hole on the left side.
Boutte now with back-to-back hits on the first pitch. Not swinging here on the 141st pitch of Lindsey Grind's night. And the 237th. The last two games. The senior at her third school, Boutte, lobs one into the stands. Young woman out of Riverside, California. Her dugout is dancing. The Duck dugout demoralized. Ball on the strike. Ground ball, second base. Jones to Sinicki. Ole Miss leaves 2 in the 10th. They've left 12 in the game. It's Cox, it's Flannery, it's Maaki. It's 1 to win for Oregon. Well, we showed you in the top of this inning, the Oregon dugout was very quiet. Lindsey Grind got out of a jam, and it looked like, Amanda, she decided to take matters into her own hands during the break.
Yeah, this is your pitcher, your leader, just giving you even more energy here, trying to fire up her offense to just try to finish this game. She has been very vocal in this game, an elimination game, picking up her teammates in all different types of ways, whether it's pitchers on her pitching staff, her first baseman and Riley McCoy, her hitters here. And that's a leader on this team right here. And again, a huge get for Oregon when she came over from Virginia Tech.
Missy Lombardi was in that huddle just listening to her first-year pitcher. Emma Cox into the shortstop hole. Emma Cox is safe at first with a bobble by the substitute shortstop star. One pitch after that Lindsey Grind meeting, the Ducks have a runner on.
And with so many strikeouts that Binford has had in these later innings, no surprise at all to see Emma Cox go up swinging early, something up in the zone, hits it hard, pulls Starr deep into the hole. Wouldn't have had a play on that. That's going to be an infield single for Emma Cox to start off this inning.
See, a really impressive play for Starr to even get it over there. Cox leaves for a pinch runner.
And it's all about sharing information. A majority of these hitters have had a chance now at Binford, but you can tell in the dugout they're talking through their approach. And Amanda, from your perspective, what do you think that is against Binford?
Yeah, it can be anything from how she started me in this at bat. I felt like this was the best pitch to hit.
Here's a bunt from Flannery. Oh, it's thrown away! McKay throws it in the right. Here comes the pitch runner leg. She's held at third. Jamie McKay, who tied it with 2 outs in the top of the 7th, throws away that bunt to the covering Pickens, and the Ducks are in business now.
Looked like a throw to me that Pickens could have had. She was kind of leaning more toward the dugout, and the throw took her toward the middle of the field, but not a terrible throw by McKay. just Pickens looked like she wasn't on the ball of her feet, more on her heels, and couldn't come away with the catch. And look at this situation now for Oregon. Whew.
It's a sack bunt and an E3, second and third, and the only runner that really matters is the one at third with nobody out.
Okay, again, I don't think that's a terrible throw. I think Pickens should have that, and Sam Marder throws up the stop sign as leg was rounding hard, but understanding better to have a couple of runners in scoring position, no outs with multiple chances now to score that runner from third base.
And Percy Yamas is not in the game at first because she was substituted twice for pinch runners. So instead of the lefty Yamas, it was the righty McCade trying to make that throw. And now it's Stephanie Maake. One base advancement to win it against Aaliyah Binford. First pitch taken for a strike.
If Aaliyah Binford is able to wiggle out of this one, it's going to take something really special. More pitch to contact, but has been getting strikeouts later in this game, and strikeouts is exactly what she needs right now to be able to get out.
Maake to deep left field. If it's fair, it's over. It is foul.
It's the type of power that she has and that you have to be aware of. Sent that one a long way. Another great shot there.
The freshman out of Salem, Oregon, 14 for 27 with runners in scoring position this year. Leg the winning run at third in this elimination game. Maake 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout and 2 groundouts. And Binford calls for time again. Still smiling through it all, even with her career hanging in the balance here. A 1-2 is down and away. Secured by Brady. Anything that gets away, the way Reagan Legg runs, the way that Oregon runs, is probably going to end the game. 2-2 for Maake. 5-5, bottom 10. Way outside, and she's worked it full.
She's just trying to lift something to the outfield. Sacrifice fly would work beautifully with the more home run power. Hit the ball in the air, hit the ball to the outfield here with the runner at third base. So many different options to score.
3-2. Ground ball. Binford. She's got Legg hung up, and Legg is out at third. They got her at third.
Aaliyah Binford just does not let the moment get too big in any facet of the game. Understanding Oregon's going to try to score. They are aggressive. She is an athlete, makes a great throw, not scared to make that throw. Game on the line. That throw was perfect. The tag was perfect. That play is a huge deal in this inning.
Kylu Shar. Amazing, amazing stuff from Aaliyah Binford. Oozing confidence as this game goes deeper and deeper into the night and into the morning. Lushar, chopper, Star at short to first. It's late. They're loaded. Infield hit number 62 of Kylu Shar's season, and the winning run again is at third. And when they were running around in the backyard and in the woods and up hills and around rodeos, Kai and Kedri Louchard could only have dreamed of a moment like this. One ball and no strikes. Sam Martyrs coming down from third. Right now, Flannery is the winning run at third. And Oregon's going to bring in a pinch runner. This will be Presley Lawton. Presley Lawton, now the winning run. Now the runner who could end this magical ride for Ole Miss and propel Oregon into a meeting with either Texas or Oklahoma on Sunday night. One ball, no strikes. The All-American Kedri Louchard takes in the dirt. It's 2-0 with no place to put her. Binford searching for the magic trick. Line drive to left. It is foul. It's a moment where any pitch could be the last pitch in the extraordinary careers of players on these teams. Could be the end for Binford. Could be the last night for Louchard. Two seniors. Louchard takes low. One more of those and Oregon will literally walk off. Binford's brought it all week. She's got to bring it here. 3-1. Ball four. Little Sis with the walk-off walk after Big Sis's infield single. Kedri Louchard with the take of her life. And Oregon survives 6-5 in 10 to end this magical run for Ole Miss.